Michigan sports. Red Wings, Lions, Tigers, Pistons, Michigan State, and the list goes on. And you love beer. Who doesn't? What if we mixed the two together? This is State of My Sports. We'll talk everything Michigan sports, like only we do, and then we'll down our fair share of beer from a local brewery, grading the beer throughout the episode. So pop a cold one on your end, and we'll get busy on ours. This is the State of My Sports.
That's right, this is State of My Sports, and this is episode 187, recording live on January 3rd, 2023. We will discuss the Detroit Lions, butt whooping that they put on the Bears, keep their playoff hopes alive. They'll have an opportunity to play spoiler to the Packers or have a winner-take-all Sunday Night Football game. Got flex in the Sunday Night Football, so that's kind of cool. We have to discuss the terrible ending to 2022 and the Michigan's second straight semifinal loss. We'll put a bow on their football season and discuss the already rumor mill, basically, with Jim Harbaugh going to the NFL like normal. It's just kind of the new thing that we do here. We will make our picks against the spread, and if you're joining us live, and we'll rate and review a craft beer from the state of Michigan. If you're joining us live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Twitch, let us know what you're sipping on and your thoughts on all of our topics. I don't know why I slip up on that every single time, but I do. I am Sam Walthart. With me today, we got, I really should. It would make more sense, right? Ron Walthart.
Hello.
And John Dornboss. You guys are back. 2023. You guys weren't here last week, right? Or were you? I can never remember who was here.
I don't think I was.
No, neither one of you guys were. You guys missed the preview, John.
I was off last week.
You were off last week. It was just me and Micah that did the Michigan preview.
I was right there with you in spirit.
Yeah.
I didn't even watch.
No? Man, that's the first episode you missed in a long time.
Yeah, really long time. I heard it was a doozy.
Yeah, how was you guys' Christmas and New Year's not related to sports?
My New Year's was a little bit cut short, I would say, because some of my really, really good friends, like, even best friends, you would say, just kind of left early. Just weren't around to hang out or enjoy the night. So that was kind of a bummer. What about you, Sam?
You're not supposed to throw me under the bus so early. I fell asleep.
Oh, okay.
Trying to get Jordan to sleep. And then I woke up and was like, no, I'm not going back over there.
Something put you in that kind of a mood, huh?
It was a little bit. And yeah, it was just it was a decent time for me to just not try to wake myself back up, to say the least.
Fair enough. John,
how was yours? Are you going to throw anybody under the bus?
Under the bus?
Yeah, just calling anybody out right now?
Oh, no.
Just speaking real,
Ryan
man.
Just
No, it was low-key. Just watch the game, obviously. The game. We'll get to it later.
Yeah.
And then didn't stay out very late. I think I was in bed by 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Not into
What'd you do? Like, where'd you go?
Went with the girlfriend to a friend's house.
Okay.
Group of her friends. I think
Are they big sports fans or no?
Not at all.
No?
No. So, like, watching the Ohio State-Georgia game, it wasn't on in the background. They were just watching, like, the New Year's Eve
Yeah. Ball drop.
coverage.
I haven't watched the ball drop in I don't know how long.
Was it like Miley Cyrus? And
Oh, was it really?
Dolly Parton was on there.
Oh,
I was
my
like,
goodness.
I'm not paying attention to that either.
She's still alive,
So,
Dolly Parton?
Oh, yeah.
Is she really? Wow. I didn't know that. I
Yeah.
thought she would have been long gone by now. How old is she?
Oh, she's got to be 70, 75.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Man.
Been around a while, right?
Yeah, for sure. What about Christmas? We didn't get either of you guys' Christmases on the podcast. You guys have a good Christmas?
Low key.
Yeah.
I had the flu.
It's always fun.
Avoided family and didn't do anything. Like, real low key.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't eat for like 2 days.
Dang.
Stomach wasn't feeling it. But
That's such a bummer.
Yeah.
yeah. So just took an extra day off from work following that holiday.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really gung-ho into going out and, like, getting wild during the Michigan game or even post-game or, too late. But when they come off a loss, you can't keep the celebration going much longer, in my opinion.
No, I agree.
And we're just all getting older,
Yeah.
let's face it. I just don't stay out that late anymore.
Yeah, the way that the weekend went, or like New Year's kind of, when the Michigan lost, and we'll get into that, but like I was just so down. Like I thought for sure the Lions were gonna let us down too, and it was like it felt like everything that we were just working up to was all gonna go away all at once to start 2023. But thankfully that didn't happen. We'll get to the Lions game here soon.
There's so much to look forward to, and then it just started
was just
off
like
that.
Yeah, exactly. So it was just kind of like, yeah, that really hurt everything. But anyways, let's just talk about what we're drinking tonight. We are drinking from Stormcloud Brewing Company, which is in, I saw this earlier, Frankfort, Michigan, I think I saw. Does anybody know? Frankfort, Michigan. We're drinking their Rainmaker Ale. It is 5.9% alcohol by volume. This is their the beer that started it all. Their flagship pale ale was handcrafted over years of homebrew basement experiments. Rainmaker is well-balanced, medium-bodied, easy-drinking ale. It says, take the day off. There's a 100% chance of rain. It's their Belgian-inspired, Michigan-made is what they say. So Frankfurt looks like, based on the can, that it's kind of like the pinky to ring finger side of Michigan. Is that fair to say?
Frankfurt's cool.
Is it? So it's up north, right? Like, it depends on where you say up north starts. We don't want to go through that again. But it is up north.
Yeah.
And it's like right around this area, right?
Yeah, kind of as you're like
on the screen?
making your
Or
way
this way on the
towards
screen?
Traverse City from like the lakeshore,
it's like
isn't it?
here?
Kind of like up that
No.
way.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
thought it was past Traverse City and up closer between that and Petoskey. I get those areas mixed up so much, though, so it could be, I don't know, it could be either one of those.
Yeah, so this is the first time. I remember, Ryan, you did one of their beers. It was Willed Away or something like that.
Yeah.
You remember that one? It was
Yeah, I
a
do.
long time ago. I thought that this would be the first time we've done it because we actually weren't even following them on the Instagram, which just blew my mind because I thought I found all of them. But we did drink two of their beers at one point. One was Willed Away. Maybe we drank that one twice. I don't know. Or when we were all drinking different ones.
I actually think for some reason didn't we get like a sticker from them or something? Didn't they give us?
That
merch?
that was Awesome Brothers that sent us beer.
Yeah, from Alpena.
Yeah,
Yep.
So, but yeah, this is our first time doing doing one of their beers since 2020. I noticed, at least, since the tagging stopped there or whatever started. But we'll just get right into the good stuff here. Hold on. What are you guys' first thoughts on the sips here? First couple sips, is it decent? I'm surprised that it's 5.9% alcohol. That's a little higher
think
than
the
I thought it
description
would
that
be.
you read was pretty much perfect.
Yeah.
It's like, medium-bodied, really, really easy drinking, smooth.
Nice.
Yeah,
Cool.
It's pretty good so far.
Drinking craft beer, having fun, and talking sports in the state of Michigan. You're listening to State of My Sports.
So we are going to start on the positive side of our football teams. The Detroit Lions, after a poor performance against the Panthers, they finished off their home schedule with an outstanding performance to beat the Bears 41-10. After the Bears outscored the Lions 10-7 in the first quarter, the Lions responded with a 17-0 second quarter, 14-0 third quarter, and a 3-0 fourth quarter to end the game, scoring 34 unanswered points. The Lions put together scoring drives in 6 of 7 possessions, 5 TDs in the middle of those, in the middle quarters, and took complete control of the game. I want to start with the offense here. Goff was just about flawless, going 21-29 for 255 yards and 3 touchdowns, which included completions to 10 different receivers. Amon-Ra St. Brown led the way with 4 catches, 62 yards. Chark, 2 catches for 56. Raymond, 3 for 40, with the 3 passing touchdowns going to 1 to Swift and 2 to Brock Wright. Running game seemed to get bounced back pretty well. Very important time to get this thing going. Jamal Williams looked fresh again with 144 yards on 22 carries for a 6.5 average and a touchdown. Swift had 78 yards on the ground in 11 carries for a 7.1 average and a rushing touchdown to go with his receiving touchdown and an additional 39 yards on 4 catches. Jameson Williams also had a 40-yard run as a nice little wrinkle, kind of an end around, which was really, really cool. Look, I don't think this game's worth talking about a ton. I want to get into the defense here in a bit, but offensive side, they continue to take care of the football. They continue to spread the ball around to multiple players. It just seems like the revolving door. Like, how many times are we saying, he's thrown to 8 different receivers, 10 different receivers? It seems like it's so constant that Goff is spreading this ball around. Everybody's getting involved that I think it's really hard for a defense to plan against the Detroit Lions. Obviously, you have Amon-Ra St. Brown that you have to worry about, but when you're hitting so many different players, that's the kind of thing that we want to see, I guess, because not everybody has that luxury of having multiple guys that can catch and multiple threats, if you will. Obviously, they're not the guys that are putting up 200 yards like just Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, like those type of guys. But what you have is a lot of guys that just do their job, and they have well-designed plays that it gets everybody involved. How important is that when you're putting together an offensive game plan for this Lions here moving forward, when you know that you just have all these guys that you can get involved and really make the other team have to worry about? Like, what are you guys' thoughts on the way that this ball is getting spread around? Is that just Goff or Ben Johnson?
Well, I heard a stat that Goff has 29 touchdown passes this year.
Is that really the case? So I do have his actual stats here. I do have that. Yeah, so season numbers here. This year he's got, so in 16 games, 359 completions, which is just under 65%. He's got over 4,200 yards, 29 touchdowns to 7 interceptions.
4,200 yards.
Yeah. And I did see a stat.
So I'm gonna give Jared Goff the credit there. I'm gonna give him the credit. He's spreading that, like you said, spreading the ball around. But guys are making. He's got opportunities to capitalize in the end zone. 29 touchdowns quietly, in my opinion, because he had some big games, but it seemed like when he'd throw for 300 or plus yards, he's only getting like 1 touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
29 is a lot more than I maybe thought he could have got, especially after trading T.J. Hawkinson.
Right.
So kudos to Brock Wright stepping up.
Brock Wright, Zielstra.
We're taking advantage of that same position without having to fork over a franchise contract.
No, you're right. Tight end by committee.
Yeah, to Hawkinson.
But these guys can do the job. I mean, you look at Brock Wright and his game-saving touchdown a couple of weeks ago. Yep. He has some legitimate speed. Shane Zylstra is a legitimate wide receiver playing tight end.
Yep.
And then you've got James Mitchell, the young kid who's jumping in and doing his part. So at no point can you just take these guys for granted on the field. If they're open and you feed them the ball, they're going to get the extra yards.
Look, Hawkinson is a Pro Bowl tight end for a reason. He's
Absolutely.
very good. He's very good. But the way that this offense runs is you don't need might be the wrong word because everybody wants something like that, but it's not that important, and
they're scheming them open.
You don't have to worry about making them happy, giving them 5 targets just to make them happy. They all have their place in this game. And I heard a stat, and Ryan, I don't know if this is a stat that you were talking about off
This was
air.
one of them, yeah.
It was a tight end one?
Yeah.
Lions are second in the league in touchdowns from tight ends. That's after trading away to Hawkinson. Yeah, you include Hawkinson's early on in the year. I don't remember exactly how many he had. I think it was like 5 or 6. But it just seems to be like that is what they're making work. Like the second, and it's only behind the Chiefs because of Travis Kelce, which is just that number blew my mind when I heard that. And I don't remember the exact number, but that
it's by committee.
Second in tight end touchdowns is pretty impressive.
I think kind of mixing both of those with Jared Goff being so impressive with the way he's protected the ball. So that's like key number 1. Don't turn it over, protect the ball. But 2, I think the play calls and the design of this offense requires playmakers, and we finally have people healthy. We're looking at we've been sprinkling in Jameson Williams over the last few weeks. We're talking about the second wide or maybe third wide receiver taken in the draft last year, arguably number 1, the best one. Just he was injured, so we're getting a guy with electric speed, playmaking ability coming back into this offense, and we weren't even relying on him. That's just the extra talent that we're adding. We're 4 or 5 wide receivers deep before he even came on board.
Yeah,
with the tight end by committee, with multiple playmakers in the backfield, with potentially with Swift getting healthy recently. So early on in the year, we saw this offense work. Then you saw the lull where we were one of the worst offenses in football for a little while there. But you can coincide that with Swift getting injured, with Amon-Ra St. Brown being out for concussion protocol a couple weeks, with or dealing with the ankle. Maybe that was what it was.
I don't remember exactly. Yeah, something like that.
But the playmakers were not on the field. DJ Chark was out 4 games or something.
Yeah.
So right now, they're all healthy at the perfect time.
Yep.
And I think what that does is it also allows them to stay healthy because you're limiting the massive workload for each one of those guys, they're all on the field like 33% of the snaps.
Yeah, and you're still getting Khalif Raymond with 3 catches for 4 yards. So it's like you have to worry about him too. It's awesome.
If he's our 5th, 6th, 7th option, that's better than any other team's 5th option.
Yep, I
Khalif
agree.
Raymond is a bona fide NFL player. He comes up with big catches. He's obviously a small target, maybe limited to what you can overall do with him on a big play like that. But if you design something, he's going to take advantage of it.
And when he gets the ball, he moves right away. He moves upfield so fast.
He reminds me a little bit of the Edelman type player that's like, as soon as he gets the ball, he just kind of falls forward. You know what I mean? Like, he's not, I don't know, like, because he seems to always be falling. Like, he's never just like catch it and go, it feels like.
But he takes 16 steps to move that.
But, yeah, exactly. I don't know. He's fun to watch. It's just crazy how there might be an injury, but like it seems like Goff's safety blanket last year was Josh Reynolds, right? And that's you don't even see him anymore. Like, he had 1 catch, I think 1 catch for 5 yards.
He shows up when you need him.
He shows up when you need him, but we don't need him.
Well,
and that's what's really cool is everybody developing to finding their role, and everybody can do different roles too. Because I think Khalif Raymond can kind of play that Amon-Ra St. Brown role, and they kind of work well together as well. That you can't just double team Amon-Ra St. Brown because you're going to leave Khalif Raymond wide open, and the design plays, and Goff's making the right decisions. I'm sorry, I cut you off there.
Well, I think that is, again, the design of the offense is so critical here because Jared Goff's strengths are playing off of the play action. He's one of the best play action quarterbacks in football since he came into the league. Mm-hmm. That's when he's at his best. The Lions are one of the best teams in football at play action this year. They use it. They use it to their advantage. The other thing they do really well, and what Goff is great at, is leading his wide receivers so they can catch on the run and gain those extra yards. And if you look around the league at some really, really good quarterbacks, not all of them have that ability. You'll see a lot of wide receivers and tight ends falling down as they're catching the ball because they're throwing it a little high, a little low there to protect. But Jared Goff's specialty is to lead his receivers over the shoulder on the run so that they can keep continuing to get those extra yards. But simplify the game, right? Yep. Simplify it, gain that separation early on. And that's what we've been arguing over for like the last definitely last year, but even before that with Matthew Stafford, is that these wide receivers and playmakers were all contested catch guys.
Yep.
Nobody could ever get separation. But you look at this group, they're all separation guys.
Yeah.
Chark might be the only contested catch one that you could argue, but even he's the speedster, back in his heyday when he would beat people down the field, and it was still getting that separation through his speed.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a completely different design. They've created this offense a very specific way, and the plays mimic they play to their strengths.
Yes, I agree. And I love what Jared Goff has done. I think his numbers are incredible. I think he's perfect for what this offense is doing. But then I also look at it and be like, what if we had a real high-end quarterback with this offense? And I don't want to go down that path right now.
But it's okay. It's okay to do that because what makes Jared Goff a real quarterback? He is a real established quarterback.
He is. Yeah.
When he's given time to throw and when his throws are on time. When he's not sitting back there and being relied on to be the playmaker himself. So again, that goes back to scheme. You get one of the best offensive lines of football in front of you, protect him as much as possible, and then you can sprinkle in some really talented guys who get separation, throw on the run, and I mean, watch out, their offense is good.
Yeah, he did get sacked twice on Sunday, but it's not a concern. Like, this offensive line does an unbelievable job protecting him, and you can see that confidence when he's stepping up into the pocket. Just like his confidence is sky high right now, and it is incredible. Like, I love what this offense is doing. It is really special.
He's leading the league in completion since his last interception, right?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, do you guys know how many games it's been since his last interception?
I forget if it was like 249 completions.
So I don't know the completions, but he hasn't thrown a pick since...
Was it Green Bay?
Sorry, where'd it go? Right here. Yeah, Green Bay was his last interception.
And
that was week 9.
I think he had a streak before that Green Bay game too. I think most of his interceptions were early.
He didn't throw a pick against Miami the game before, but he threw 2 against Dallas.
Oh, okay.
So that was kind of right there. And he did have a streak actually of throwing 1. So 1 in the first game, 0 in the second, 1-1-1, 2-0-1, and hasn't thrown one since. Knock on wood. because we got a big game coming up with that coming up. But
Well, yeah, he's going to face a stellar defense
That intercepts the ball.
on the road as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's always a little tougher. But, no, he's just not turn the ball over, and that's all you can ask for out of a quarterback in Detroit.
What do they have, like 17 interceptions, Packers? I know I'm jumping ahead, but
like,
that's just what they do.
That's how many they have
Yeah,
this year?
it's a
I didn't
critical
know that.
point in that game. Yeah.
Well, I think Kirk Cousins probably gave him, 3, and the Tua gave him 3 after his head injury. So he didn't know what color jerseys
Cheap
they were wearing
shots.
after that one. But no, I do want to get into that game. But before we turn it over to the preview and that, I did want to talk about the defense. I mean, the offense was basically flawless, but the defense was basically flawless. Outside of a couple big plays from Justin Fields, he ran, or that. Sorry, the defense had 7 sacks. I'm going to move on to that line.
7 sacks.
7 sacks against Justin Fields. Outside of a couple big runs that he had, they were absolutely great. They forced 2 turnovers and only allowed Fields to throw for 75 yards on 7 completions on 21 attempts. Like that, 7 completions on 21 attempts in a football game, and he played the whole football game. And I'm sorry, they were playing from behind. That was just that. Look, I'm not going to get all hot and bothered about how good this team looked against the bad Bears. I get all of those things. But you don't see these type of numbers against, in the NFL, period. What they did, 7 sacks, and Fields finished with 132 yards on the ground, but 91 of those were just on those 2 plays. So it was just a really nice response by the defense in general. After getting manhandled by the Panthers, they played really good. Outside of Anzalone's 7 total tackles, the defense was led by the young players once again, and that continues to be a theme here. Pascal had 4 tackles, 2 sacks.
Yeah, boy.
Rodriguez, 4 tackles. James Houston, 3 more sacks and a forced fumble. Dude, that one that he had, that forced fumble, I thought he was going to. I don't want to be insensitive here with what's going on with the Bills guy, but I thought he was going to murder Justin Fields. Like, I put my hands up. It was like, This is not going to end well. And that guy is fast. The one that he kind of chased him down, which the forced fumble wasn't a sack, was it? I don't think. I think he was.
Yeah, it was a sack
It
fumble.
did count as a sack fumble?
Yeah.
Okay. But the other one that he had where he was kind of, and I think it was actually on first or second down. So that's another thing that we're starting to see with him, with he's playing multiple downs instead of just third down, go after the quarterback. He kind of was playing that Aiden Hutchinson role where he kind of backed off and was just kind of spying a little bit, taking away the screen, if you will. And he was just kind of baiting Justin Fields. And as soon as Justin Fields maybe took his eye off him, just went right to him. You know what I'm talking about?
I thought you were talking about the one where he literally tackled the tackle.
Well, that was, I guess,
and the quarterback,
all 3
and
of
then
them.
injured their left guard.
That's a great point. I didn't even, all 3 of his sacks were awesome, and he's now leading all rookies in sacks. He's ahead of Aiden Hutchinson.
He is
in sacks, and he's only played 6 games?
8 sacks,
8 sacks in 6 games. It's impressive, and it might just be a flash in the pan, but it looks legit the way he's doing it. He's doing it multiple ways. He's bendy. He's bull rushing guys. He's I think he's an older rookie, I guess, if you will. I think he's 24, but still, it's what he's doing is at a level that you just wonder why he didn't start the season in Detroit and was on the practice squad.
Well, it sounded like the defensive line, in practice, were rooting for this guy and raving about him, right?
Yeah.
When are we going to call him up? When are we going to call him up? And then boom, it's like we had this secret weapon card in our hand, and we wanted to see what we could do.
It was almost like a trade deadline acquisition.
Nice.
Without just calling him up. It was so cool.
So first overall pick, Trayvon Walker. This
Yeah.
is the stat that I was talking about. Trayvon Walker, how many sacks does he have this year? Do you know?
I think 3.
3.5.
Okay.
Okay.
3.5 sacks. Kayvon Thibodeau, how many sacks does
He's
he
up
have?
to 6, right?
Nope, he has 4 sacks.
Whoa. I thought he had okay.
Nope.
I'll trust you.
So
And a snow angel.
I wrote down my answer, not yours.
that means James Houston has more sacks than the number 1 pick and number 5 pick combined in this year's draft, and he's a 6th-round pick.
that is.
And he's played 6 games.
I am telling you what.
It's incredible that it's not talked about on a national level.
That's a great point.
Brock Purdy is Mr. Irrelevant, right?
Yeah.
And he plays for a much better organization in San Francisco 49ers.
Yep.
But this is insane.
It's crazy.
It's incredible. You don't hear of rookies having years like this.
Well, and to your point, what you were saying earlier, Sam, I think the way he's doing it too, like right away, it was the bend. It was that like little hop step bend around the edge, and it was like, man, that was a sweet move. That was really cool. And a guy that with his size, yeah, maybe he can pull that off here and there. And then he does it with being smart, playing the run, and then just diving in with his speed, his athleticism. And then he bull rushes the tackle and literally takes out 3 people.
Yeah.
That one was so impressive.
Strength.
Yeah, exactly. So he's
Right.
got the combo, right?
He's got it all. He really does. And it's fun to see. And then you had Pascal getting 2 sacks. So that's 2 more for a rookie.
You know what?
So you had,
Every game Pascal's played, he makes a big difference.
He does.
He gets upfield. He pressures the quarterback, and he makes big plays.
and he's good in the run game.
He is.
I think.
Yeah, and he can play inside and outside. They have such a unique game right now where Aiden Hutchinson, their ends can play in the middle during the rush phase, and then they can bring in James Houston and some of the other speed rushers on the outside whenever you need. And then at that point, if they start doing their little stunts, that means your inside guy who normally plays outside will do his outside stunt.
Yeah.
So
They're
we got
faceted.
how many does Aiden have? Do you know? Is it 7?
He has 7.5.
7.5. Sorry, I'm just doing quick math here.
Second in all rookies. Yep.
So if you count,
Behind
so you have Aiden Hutchinson, rookie, 7.5. James Houston, 8, another rookie. Pascal, another rookie. He's got 2.
He got his first 2 this week.
And Malcolm Rodriguez with 1. I don't know if Kirby Joseph has one or not. I think he did get one, but I get him and Jerry Jacobs confused a lot. But just out of those 4 players, how many is that for rookies? Like, that's just, I'm bad math. Bad at simple math here.
Was it 11?
So 11 plus 7.5.
Oh, okay, I'm trying to read that.
So 18.5. Did I do that right?
Makes sense.
18.5 sacks from the rookies. And maybe, who did I say?
That might match the Bears'
Who did I say?
total season
The other one?
output.
Kirby Joseph.
Kirby Joseph. I want to see if he does.
I feel like he did have a sack and an interception in the game.
I think he did have a sack at one point, but he does not because I get him and Jacobs confused.
Huh.
But he's got 3 interceptions, and then you got Aiden Hutchinson with 3 interceptions. Do you think Aiden Hutchinson should get defensive rookie of the year over Sauce Gardner? Because everybody's saying Gardner will get it, which is kind of like, okay. I don't want to say that he doesn't deserve it, but I am curious because what Aiden Hutchinson's doing is very impressive for a rookie. He's not dominating football games at like left and right, but he's putting up really good numbers.
Yeah, those interceptions from a defensive lineman are clutch in the stat book. You know, you can be a corner or safety and rack up a few, and it's expected because you're getting the ball thrown to you.
Yep. So on Sunday he had 4 tackles, a half sack, fumble recovery, and his 3rd interception of the season.
And did a great job of containing Justin Fields on a few of those plays early on before he was hurt.
Yeah, I agree. Do you think he should get defensive rookie of the year?
Absolutely.
I think so too.
Absolutely.
Now,
Especially the way the Jets have like kind of crumbled towards the end of the season. Detroit's kind of been relevant the entire time.
Yeah. I don't like giving it to somebody that just is kind of ignored by their teams. You know what I mean? Like, they're not throwing at him, so that's supposed to like pump him up and like make him look even better. Look, don't get me wrong. I know he's an extremely good cornerback for a rookie. I'm not gonna throw shade at him in any way, shape, or form. But like, I want to see production, and I think Aiden Hutchinson has more interceptions than Sauce Gardner. So like,
No, I think Sauce has a few.
Gardner plays for the Jets and for Robert Saleh, a defensive-minded coach. I think where he gets a little benefit of the doubt there, where Aiden Hutchinson's playing for a historically bad franchise, in the Detroit Lions. So
he's got 2 interceptions.
Does he?
I would, yeah. I don't know. Again, to have more interceptions, that's incredible too.
I don't.
I just don't know
just
how
a hard one.
I know it's like a stat thing.
How much impact is
yeah.
there on the game? Well, I know Aiden's got a lot of impact on the run game, early downs, and then being able to be that 3-down kind of lineman. That impacts the interior of the line, so all those guys can rest up a little bit more because he is an every down kind of guy. And then, again, what I'm saying is, like, he goes from the outside guy early on to a lot of times their speed package. He moves to the inside, and then they run all those stunts, and it's difficult for the offensive line. He might not get the sack
stat
on that,
yeah.
but he made the impact. And we saw that with James Houston he got a couple of those sacks as Hutchinson's running to the outside and causing that initial movement of Fields into the sack.
Especially the one that he did bull rush. That one in particular, I remember Hutchinson was like, all right, if Houston didn't knock him down with that guy's butt, then Hutchinson would have been there very, very quick.
And that's happened all year with Kaminsky too.
Kaminsky had another sack today on Sunday.
Those guys have big impact on just the way the pocket moves and forces the quarterbacks to react, and then getting those, like bad throws or whatever to force, 3 and outs. There's a lot of impact that's just hard to measure against. So defensive rookie of the year, he's definitely in the top 2.
Yeah, I agree.
It's kind of like in the NBA when they give defensive player of the year to like a guard. Like Gary Payton, the glove, that was his ammo. He didn't play offensive basketball. He was a defender. He was a great point guard, don't get me wrong, up there in the top 10. But defensively, arguably one of the best players to man up on another team's guard. That's why I don't like seeing the safety or the corner, somebody in the secondary get this award.
Yeah.
Give it to a guy that's had muscle, had to grow, had to utilize his size and like catch up to the speed of the game. Because let's face it, Aiden got off to a little bit of a rough start right at the beginning of the year. His timing looked off. He looked like he was a little bit lost out there. He's picked up on the flow of the game.
Yeah.
And absolutely, and it's going to be tough because he's got Houston there, also a rookie, sharing the same stat line as him.
Yeah, getting more of stats.
So does that take away votes from Aiden Hutchinson versus, Sauce Gardner as opposed to Aiden Hutchinson and his own teammate?
I think Aiden could go out and win Defensive Rookie of the Year on Sunday, personally. If he has a good performance, gets a sack or two.
Oh, it'd be iconic if he got a hold of Aaron Rodgers once. Legally.
And got to the playoffs.
Yeah. That would be absolutely huge. Real quick, I didn't want to talk just the bounce back in general. 230 total yards for the Bears, coming off the 570 that they allowed to the Panthers. Really, really nice response from the game plan standpoint. Everybody was kind of nervous heading into this game, wondering what Justin Fields could do. He did get 132 rushing yards of their 200, but just 30 passing yards for their team. It was just, I don't know how that happened when they had 75 himself, so I don't know what's up with that. But it doesn't matter. They held him to 3 of 13 on third down. The Lions had 26 first downs to the Bears 9, which was awesome. 70 plays to 50. They just controlled the game. Time of possession 35-43 to 24-17. And then obviously the 2 takeaways to the 0 turnovers. Just a really dominant performance, which was really, really nice to see because I think we all had a little nerves heading in. I mean, we should go in and beat the Bears, no question. But with everything that's been going on, it's like you never know. You never know what these teams are going to do. And with Justin Fields starting and wondering what that was going to turn out to be, really, really nice and really exciting that we can move into Week 18 with something to play for hopefully, right? The Week 18 game got flexed into Sunday Night Football at Green Bay. Are you guys happy with the flex to the Sunday Night Football?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Big time.
On one hand, I really like it. On the other, I don't like how we're going to potentially know our fate before the game. Because Seahawks is the 4 o'clock start. I feel like you had an opportunity to put both these games in the 4 o'clock slot. That's kind of why they told us that they would use the flex available. Like, you know what I mean? So teams aren't scoreboard watching or a game's not important because of a game that happened earlier. So I'm a little disappointed with that. But anytime you can put your team on Sunday Night Football, that's always really exciting. And we talked about it heading into the season, kind of got the short end of the stick with no national televised games. Well, now you have one, and that's pretty cool. And I'm telling you what, this is an opportunity to sign us up for a few next year because I think the Detroit Lions are becoming a very fun team to watch, and I think the nationally teams are going to start understanding that. But whether they have something major to play for or they can sit there and play spoiler, I am really excited for this opportunity. What I really look at this as is they could be the team that puts the final nail in the coffin of the Aaron Rodgers-led Green Bay Packers. I might be wrong, and they come back next year and have a very good year. That's very well possible. But it feels different. It feels like it is coming to an end. It feels like the window is about closed on them. And I feel like the Lions have this chance to be the team to kind of put the league out of the misery of the Packers' worry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the 49ers don't have to worry about playing Aaron Rodgers because the Lions put a stake in them. You know what I mean? I love that opportunity. It's going to be really tough. Like, I'm not going to say we're going to go and win this game. Just I'm really excited for the opportunity to play spoiler or to go in and earn your way into the playoffs. It's a great chance here. And I don't know. I think this year, and I don't want to put a bow on this season yet, but we're going to do this next week, obviously. But this one is also, like I said, nail in the coffin of the Packers and Rodgers, but also it is a nail in the coffin of same old Lions. This is an opportunity, and I'm not saying if they lose this game, it is a same old Lions type loss. I'm not going there. This is a different team. It is done, in my opinion. And this is the opportunity to put everybody on notice and say, we're different, and everybody's watching. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. What are your thoughts heading into this game? Going to be tough. Not going to say we're going to go in and win this game. That would be kind of stupid to say that, right? Outside of the fan perspective.
Was Green Bay just like a 4.5 point favorite?
4.5, I think, yeah.
Detroit hasn't been in a game like that this year? Come on. It's a one-possession game.
I mean, you say it, right?
Could be.
Home field is 3 points. Lambeau might be one of those exceptions where it's like
maybe more.
4, yeah. I mean,
5,
we're talking
6.
about a pick 'em.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah, I think the Lions match up
They're getting respect.
well, too.
Yeah.
The run defense is obviously going to be very important. I think we shut down their run game. I don't remember the stats, but I think that A.J. Dillon led with 8 carries for like 21 yards. Aaron Jones had like 30 yards or something like that. Like, it was what they did was impressive in that game. They're going to have to do it again. And it seems like the Packers seem to figure something out. They're rolling, but I also don't want to get blinded by they haven't beat really good teams. Yeah, what they did against the Vikings is impressive, but I mean, it's the Vikings.
The
like
Vikings
they did the same thing.
They have a negative 19 point differential on the
insane.
Season.
Unreal.
With
really
12
is.
wins or 13 wins now? 12?
I mean, that's what the Lions just did to the Vikings recently. I mean,
Yeah,
they gave
I agree.
them more
Yeah.
points, but it was we had the game in hand early.
It's going to be interesting, right? Detroit's first primetime game, I guess, outside of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah,
Well,
so
who the Packers have beat on their win streak is the Vikings, the Dolphins, the Rams,
Without Tua.
and the Bears.
Without Stafford.
Well, it was Tua. Tua did play.
oh,
He
that
got
was,
hurt,
yeah,
but he had
okay.
he literally
But
handed them the game.
Yeah, yep.
After the injury. But this Packers team is different. Like we've been saying with the Lions, they're different. It feels different. It's a different team. We're not the same old Lions. Even Rodgers said this isn't the same old Lions. Finally gives them a little bit of credit. Piece of crap. But
He's pulling a Bill Belichick.
this is also a different Packers team. This isn't the Aaron Rodgers MVP type season that we're worried about. This is we got to stop the run. We want Aaron Rodgers to beat us. And that's a weird place to be at because that's a weird thing to want. You know what I mean? But I don't trust the wide receivers. I don't really trust the way he's playing the game. And I think we're a couple hits away from putting him in the coffin. And here I am talking about dead people on the football field. Sorry, I keep doing that.
man.
It's a bad
I
look.
know it really is.
Yeah,
But
you
Bad
should-
taste.
yeah, hopefully it gets some attention, right?
Awful take.
But
I don't want to be a part of that.
but you agree, right?
No. I think the primetime slot is great because the Lions got disrespected with a 1:00 start on every game this year, and they know that. And
Yeah.
Dan Campbell can say all he wants that it's fine because it's consistent and they're on their routine and everything, and the team can play that underdog message for long enough, I guess. But when you earn it, it's got to feel good. It's got to get them pumped. It's got to at least start this game with the energy that we're gonna know they need.
Yeah.
And I agree. I think the most important thing is to stop the running game of the Packers, especially early on, because if they get that,
They get rolling.
if they get that, and that I don't know, just the physical. If they don't match the physicality of the Packers on the line early on, then watch out because that's when it feels like our linebackers overcommit. That's when it feels like maybe we missed a Sean Elliott even more.
I wonder if he's going to be back. I haven't heard
I
much.
hope so. I think
so
he's
too.
kind of key though because
Yeah.
he plays a physical brand. And actually, earlier this season, he went 1-on-1 against
Aaron Jones.
no,
AJ Dillon.
AJ Dillon.
Yeah.
And I turned to my son and I was just like, that is a
Nobody does
bold move because nobody does that.
AJ Dillon.
He stood him right up.
I think AJ Dillon scares me more than
AJ Dillon is
Aaron Jones.
Me too. Well,
In different ways.
Yeah,
but
different
like
ways.
just that the way that guy runs. Oh my gosh, I wanted him so bad for the Lions. I was so mad when the Packers took him.
Second round was early.
Yeah, it was, but they're used to taking weird draft picks.
No, and I think the Lions. I don't think they match up poorly against the Packers. I think this is going to be a competitive game because I do feel like they can get the pressure. I think our line right now, I mean, and you brought it up earlier, who are the guys the Lions are relying on right now? On offense, we're relying on, Amon-Ra St. Brown's second year, James Mitchell, rookie, Brock Wright, young tight end.
Second year, right?
Yeah, Shane Zelstra, same thing. Like James Williams, rookie. Josh Reynolds, he's been around for a while, but like we're relying on young players who have been getting better. Defense, we're talking about James Houston and Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, another young player that we didn't talk about, and I think it's worth bringing up. I don't remember seeing him much. Is Jeffrey Okudah, and I've heard questionable like he's losing snaps defensively, and I saw him on the punt coverage and all of these things. Like, are you concerned about what's going on with Okudah, or is that just kind of like the fact that we don't see it? It's actually a good thing he's playing really good corner. Like, what are your thoughts on Okudah? Sorry, just quick change there, but
well, I know he was hurt. He was playing hurt and trying to get through. He had a concussion and stuff. He was in the protocol a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
or maybe even 3 weeks ago.
I think it was heading into the Bills game on Thanksgiving because the short week didn't let him play
But he didn't. He hasn't looked right since, and he was the number one guy for a while, and now I think it doesn't really matter to me because we've found guys to step in that are doing the job. Jerry Jacobs is, he's an animal out there. He's not afraid of anyone. He might get beaten. He might get flagged every once in a while.
Yeah.
But he plays a tough brand of football.
Yeah.
Like, he's ready to play. And then opposite him, I don't know, we've kind of been going by committee. I don't mind how Hughes has been playing. I think whenever he comes in, he's been playing well.
Yeah.
Okudah can step in too. And then, I don't know, like Iffy's been playing safety recently, and I don't know, mixed results there.
Yeah.
But in the pass game, he definitely knows what he's doing. It's really just more about if he's going to get beat up physically. So
yeah, it'll be something to keep an eye on for sure. We got to find a way to keep Christian Watson from beating us.
Yeah, I think Okudah being healthy helps the team, though. I think him playing is a good sign.
I think that was it for the Lions talk. You guys good with that, or you want to keep talking about him? Because I don't mind keep talking about him. But we'll have to move on. But we did get a comment from Carrie. She said, "I don't like it. Max can't watch." And then, like I said, going to be a fun game, hopefully, for Lions fans.
We were looking forward to this talk, Micah, just so we could have discussions about how good your defensive line is. That's the other key. Offensive line of Lions against defensive line of Packers.
Keep an eye on it.
We got to win that one.
If it's craft beer in Michigan sports, we may not be the authority, but we love both like a fat kid loves cake. Hot, hot! This is State of My Sports.
Before we get into negative, like I said, it's kind of negative here. I am, again, downplaying it. NFL talk. Didn't want to talk about a little heading into Week 18. Weird thing happened last night. I don't know if you guys were watching. I'm sure you've seen it by now. But Damar Hamlin from the Bills kind of had a scary situation. Got hit into the heart, it looked like, and basically got up, took a couple steps, and then fell right back on his head. They were giving him CPR on Monday Night Football. It was kind of, you knew it was different right away. The way that the players were reacting, the way that the cameras were not going anywhere near him, but they did tell us that they were giving him CPR. We learned this morning that they did get his heart back up and running on the field, so that was good. But then they rushed him to the hospital, and he's still in critical condition. Not breathing on his own was what it sounds like. Maybe something's happened since we started and we're not getting that up-to-date news. But I don't want to get too much into the injury. I know that's what all of national media is going to do. That's not what we like to do. We like to talk about the football side of it. And it's really weird because the Bills-Bengals game has been suspended, obviously, and won't resume this week. And it just throws a major wrench into everything heading into Week 18. And again, respect, and we're praying for Damar Hamlin. We want what's best for him. We want him to make it. But we also are going to move on to football because that's what the NFL is going to do as well, based on what we're being told. But this game, the Bengals-Bills, was going to be kind of eye-opening here with the first three seeds is what this was going to set up. Currently, you have the Chiefs at the number one seed because you don't have a win for the Chiefs, who would the Bills, who would jump them if they won. Bengals could still get that number 1 seed. Also, with the fact that we don't know if they won this game now, going to this Ravens game, which would have been for the division if they didn't win last night, and now we don't know what any of this is, and we don't, with this weird game hanging there, wondering if they're going to pick it up or if it's forfeited. Like, all of these things, it's kind of putting I don't want to say damper because it's a human life or whatever, but like it throws into so many questions of what games are actually really important, and you know what I mean, like who's going to show up for what. I don't know. It's just kind of throws things for a loop here.
I think.
What do you guys think about the AFC? So, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Well, yeah, I think what's a clear, obvious situation is the NFL did the right thing to not finish that game. There's no way you could go back out and play that game.
I agree completely. Yep.
It would have been, I don't
unfair
know.
for
it would have been
everybody.
a mockery, of the league, really, in my opinion. So they did the right thing, and obviously, prayers out to Damar Hamlin and his family and everything. I don't know. I was sick to my stomach, and I'm sure the entire world that was watching was probably sick to their stomach and couldn't understand or like believe that what they were actually watching. The fact that they had a crew doing CPR on the field
in front of
teammates, national broadcasts, in both teams. I think it's also a reminder of like legitimate first responders that are on the field and a human life is in their hands. That's what I was thinking about, him and his family, and then those first responders that are literally like, can you imagine performing for your job and that's what you're performing for?
Yeah.
I mean, like, to put things in perspective, it's like, okay, we can figure out the dumb week 18, 17 stuff later, and how this is going to work out. Because you're right, it does impact a lot of things up there at the top of the AFC, but it really didn't matter, and they did the right thing. And I don't know, that's really all I've got for it.
Yep, no, I do agree with that, and thanks for bringing that up, because I didn't say that it was the right call to do that, to call the game. I understand why they didn't want to play it today, too, just with the still wondering if he's going to, how it's going to unfold, I guess. But John, were you watching the game when it happened, or?
Yeah, I mean it's a once in a lifetime thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're an elder fan of sports to know of another person that's died on a professional arena.
Yeah.
Not saying that he has passed away, but that's where he was at.
Mm-hmm.
They had to bring him back to life. 24 years old.
Yeah.
What are we in our 30s?
Yeah.
Think of your life being cut short 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine like what his family is going through, what he's going through. First responders, I personally thought the game should have been canceled faster. There was like a moment of time there where it's a business, and it's not up to Joe Buck and Troy Aikman to make that call. It's not up to the PA announcer to make that call. I know that like a process has to involve those decisions being made.
Yeah.
But just the looks on those players' faces, like these players are accustomed to a guy blowing out his knee and maybe screaming like, "Oh, I can't walk."
Yeah.
A guy getting hit high and, you know, moving his limbs and giving a thumbs up. That didn't happen last night. And that's where I know that football is what football is, but it's life and death at that point. And that's I don't know if we'll ever see that in a professional game again.
Yeah. Where
the game comes to a stop. And that early on.
Yep. And it reminded me a lot of a couple things. Obviously, I've been watching hockey since I was a kid. The first one that came to mind was Chris Pronger. I don't know if you guys remember it. I want to say it was 98. It might have been 97 playoffs.
Yeah.
When the puck hit him like right on
in
the heart.
Chest, yeah.
And he kind of went through a similar thing. I don't think it was as serious that they had to give him CPR and stuff on the ice. They kept playing. And I'm just saying what happened. And I think he was playing a couple days later. So, but this is obviously a completely different situation in his current health. It also reminded me of Yuri Fisher when he collapsed on the bench.
Yeah.
And that was when the Red Wings they decided to call the game. That was obviously more serious, life-threatening in the moment. But yeah, to see it in a football field when you know it's like a massively like just crazy violent sport. The head injuries obviously are a big talking point right now with everything. So it's just kind of when you see that happen and really wondering if this guy just died on the field, like that's eye-opening for a lot of people. Not only did in that game there, it affected the whole league. Everybody just rethinks what they're going through, what they're doing out there, because it could happen just like that.
I mean, I saw a couple of tweets that were saying like I've never refreshed Twitter so much in my life, and that's the same thing I was doing.
Yeah,
I think the entire nation was just like I'm pulling for this guy and for his family, and like it was, I don't know, it's just one of those reminders that it was just so unnatural, and that's like part of the sickness is also just, it's different when it doesn't just happen because of a hit. Like it was a fairly normal football play and then stood up and then went down. So it, like, you could tell immediately that it was unnatural. It was just different, right?
Yep, exactly.
And that's also what just makes it so scary right away, because it's not like, oh, I wonder if this guy, has a concussion or something else that's also terrible, but it was just different.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened right on the field of play. He did give up, like you said. Had he made it over to the sideline and then something transpired, it may not have been what it was. But for it to happen right there as they're cutting right, away from panning away from the play with the camera, man, it was, I just couldn't, I couldn't believe what was going on.
So we'll see how it impacts the AFC.
Yeah.
But I think it was the obvious choice. And if a team suffers about missing out on the number 1 overall seed because of this, sorry, that's just what you're going to have to deal with this year, right?
So
I agree completely.
Do you just call it a tie?
I call it.
So you're not setting any team further back from each other?
I call it a non-game. I just call it a non-game.
Non-game?
Yeah, they're just going to have a different record. You can go by win percentage.
I would say the Bills should forfeit the game, personally. That's what I think should happen. And I know that might be unfair, but like that's what came to my mind when I saw that they were going to start at least delaying the game and officially going through all of those things. I was like, all right, the Bills should be the one to be like, we're calling this game. You guys have the win type thing. And I'm sure the Bengals will be like, no, let's let the league figure this thing out. But that's kind of where my mind went, at least initially. I understand the non-game situation. I understand the calling it a tie. I don't know what to do. But I think you play week 18, let it play out, and see what that game would have mattered. Maybe delay the playoffs an extra week. Have them play their own week 18 on like a Friday or something like that, or you know what I mean? And then lay out all of that. Delay the week. Maybe take the week off. That how you like between the Super Bowl, like before the Super Bowl, you usually have 2 weeks. Maybe use that as the buffer. Delay the playoffs and then give everybody a bye except for them to see how it plays out, if that makes sense. I want to see them play it, personally. I think that would be, if it matters with the standings, I would rather them do that, personally. But I want it to be next week, if it really affects the standings. Because you see baseball do that with like rainouts and stuff, obviously different situation, but it's like, all right, this game's rained out. We'll make it up on the last day of the year if we have to. If it doesn't affect the standings, we'll just not play it. You know what I mean? That's what I think they should do. But it seems like it's either way, it's going to somehow affect the standings. So we'll see what they decide. Talking football again, wild card. You got the Patriots. So in the AFC wild card here, Patriots play the Bills. Dolphins host the Jets, and the Steelers host the Browns. All 3 of those teams are 8-8. Currently, the Patriots hold the tiebreakers over Pittsburgh based on their head-to-head win and percentage, I guess. The head-to-head win. The division tiebreak was initially used to eliminate Miami. New England wins that tiebreaker over Miami based on their best win percentage in division games. So Patriots win, they're in. Obviously playing the Bills, it makes it a massive question mark of how they're going to respond with all that. You got Dolphins, they play the Jets. If New England loses and the Dolphins win, Dolphins are in. If both New England loses and the Dolphins lose and Pittsburgh wins against the Browns, the Steelers are in. Kind of cool that it comes down to three games here, right? And we'll get into the other side of the wild card here, but it's fun to see just that these games matter. And I think the extra playoff team that they added. I think it was last year was the first year adding the extra wild card. This is the reason why, because you have a big old mess here, 8-8 teams, and let these teams go out and earn it. And I love that this is what's working out for the NFL. That these games matter. Week 18 matters not only for number one seeds, division like winning divisions, but the very last wild card needs to be locked up too. Pretty cool. What do you guys see unfolding here with these three teams, and who do you expect to be in the wild card for the AFC? That final wild card spot, I should say.
Man, I think Pittsburgh has found something lately, and it's crazy to see them even at 500 right now, because I thought they were going to break their streak of being great. Either 500 or greater than 500 so many years in a row.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Mike Tomlin has had a losing season.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, yeah. He's never had a losing season, so he has a chance to do it again right here, and I honestly think they do. I think the Steelers end up holding this off. Dolphins' collapse will continue, and they'll miss out, and it'll be pretty devastating for their franchise.
And you think the Patriots will lose to the Bills as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think. So then what does it come down to between the Dolphins and Patriots?
If the Patriots win, they're in.
If the Patriots win, they're in. But if they lose, then they have the tiebreak over Miami then?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think Pittsburgh and New England are in.
All right. Well, no, sorry. This is for one spot. Those three for one spot.
Oh, it says 7 on there.
Yeah, that's the last wild card.
Oh, sorry. I'm thinking 8.
I'll get
Oh,
it.
you,
So
you
one
mapped
team,
it out for me and everything.
One
and
team.
Can you just explain this again? Let me.
One spot is available. You got the Patriots, Dolphins, and Steelers, all
Steelers.
fighting for that final
Steelers.
spot. All right. What about you, John?
That'll be interesting as to what Buffalo does, right? Because they probably can't move in the standings
It all depends on.
without that game being played.
Yeah.
So maybe somehow the Patriots could pull off a win, but I'm with Ryan on here. I'm cheering for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
Kenny Pickett. I mean,
I don't like the Steelers. I don't want it to happen, but I don't like the Patriots either.
well, I don't think any one of those teams is going to win another game in the playoffs.
Yeah.
A game in the playoffs.
That's true. Yeah. No chance.
Unless somehow Tua is cleared to come back.
The AFC is so top heavy; they're going to destroy whatever team gets in.
I feel like Tua can't play the rest of the year, so that kind of handcuffs Miami.
Yeah.
Because Teddy Bridgewater hasn't been very good either.
Yeah,
I think
that's
he
true.
might be hurt too. so
Dolphins really should be the team to make it, right?
I agree.
They should beat. They should take
They
care of the
should
Jets.
beat the Jets.
Yeah.
I think they have the easiest opponent.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
they don't have Tua though, right?
No, it doesn't
Right.
sound like he's going to play.
They're like game planning without Tua right now, not knowing if he's going to play.
I think they basically said he's not. Yeah. I guess that was the wording that they said.
And then
so.
Teddy Bridgewater's out
Oh,
because of
Oh,
a hand
Teddy's
injury.
out. Oh, I didn't know that.
So they're down to the third string quarterback. And
Is that the former XFL guy that beat the Lions last year? Whatever his name is.
Probably. Sounds about right. No, but I mean, I think they should take care of business against the Jets if they're a full, well-rounded team. And they own the tiebreaker of the Steelers. So I expect the Bills to win, and the Dolphins really should make it, but their collapse has been so bad.
Yeah, it really has. Moving to the NFC here. So you got the Eagles still in the number 1 seed spot. San Francisco has officially jumped Minnesota for the number 2. Minnesota 3. Tampa Bay 4 officially has won the division at 8-8. We'll see how they finish this season. But then you got Dallas, who's the number 1 wild card at 12-4, who's nipping on the heels of the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I don't know all the tie-breaking procedures. They didn't lay this out correctly or for us necessarily on if Eagles lose and Dallas wins, where does that tiebreaker go? I think it's for Dallas. But anyways, you got the Eagles hosting the Giants, who really have nothing to play for. They're solidified in the number 2 wild card spot, so they have no reason to really show up. I think it's going to be one of those sit your guys, rest your guys type modes for the Giants. So the Eagles should lock up the number 1 seed. Cowboys are hoping that obviously the Eagles lose, but then they beat the Commanders to take over that number 1 division spot. The other one will be the number 1 wild card, like I already said, and play the Buccaneers in the first round. So I think it's a win-win for Dallas and the Eagles to either get the bye or the bye by placing the Bucs, or playing the Bucs. But I guess
I wouldn't want to
play
Brady.
them either. But it feels like if you're going to play somebody, play the Bucs,
Yeah,
right?
good luck again. I wouldn't want to.
49ers
Yeah.
lock up the number 2 seed with a win against the Cardinals. Vikings can move up to the number 2 seed if the 49ers lose and they beat the Bears. So keep an eye on all of those things. But really the focus is the number, really the last remaining wild card right here, right? Because you got Dallas, as let's just say they locked up the wild card 5. Giants locked up number 6. Currently, you have Seattle sitting at 8-8, along with the Lions and Green Bay, all sitting at 8-8 here. Seattle plays the Rams at 4:00, and then the Lions Packers play each other for the Sunday Night Football. So it really is. It gets kind of messy, but the Packers, if they win, they're in. Basically, is where we're at. But if Seattle loses and the Lions win, the Lions get in. We all know it, right? Like it's kind of crazy. If Lions lose, Packers are in. That's basically it, right? Yeah, that's the only thing that can happen.
If the Lions lose, Packers are in.
Yep.
Packers are the only team here that control their own destiny.
Their destiny. Yep, that's a good way to say it.
So I do think it's worth talking about, though, the Rams have something to play for. And if they're going to spoil any other team, the Seahawks are the perfect team to
because
for
they
them
have.
to.
Do they have their pick? No, they don't.
No, I'm just saying because they're division rivals and they hate each other.
Yeah, it's true.
So they're a division rival. They're trying to prevent the Seahawks from going to the playoffs. And anybody that wants to argue the whole stick it to the Lions by losing and losing out on that good pick, or get wait.
Yeah.
I don't even see the logic there because if the Lions don't get in, then they get a better draft pick. So I don't know where I was going with that.
The way I look at it is I think the Rams have something to play for because they don't have their first round pick. So they're not jockeying for position like per se for their own benefit outside of the second round pick if you want to get deep into it. But the biggest thing is Baker Mayfield is playing for a job, in my opinion. Not for the Rams. He's not trying to steal Matthew Stafford's job, in my opinion. But what he's looking for is an opportunity. He's played pretty well since he got there. And I think if he can put up another good win and kind of get back into the good graces of the NFL, like he could find a starting job heading into next year. And I think that's why they want to win. I think that's why that this game is something to watch and is possible for the Rams to pull the upset. That's the only thing that really stands out to me.
Cam Akers too, right? Cam Akers has started to pick it up some the last couple of weeks,
and he wants a new. He wants to leave
contract.
or a new contract. Yeah. So,
yeah.
So
I guess where I was going with that because I kind of want to clarify how dumb that sounded earlier, but they no matter if the Rams win, they're sticking it to somebody, I guess, because they get it's like double for them. They want the motivation to beat the Seahawks because they hate the Seahawks, but then also if they keep winning, the Lions get a worse pick, and we have their pick. Yeah. So I there's no motivation at all for the Rams to just throw this game. It doesn't even make sense. So go Rams.
Yes. Detroit Rams again. We are here. But it's kind of all right. So I did put up together the Lions rooting guide for Week 18. It's pretty simple. You want the Rams to beat the Seahawks and the Lions to beat the Packers. That's basically all you want, right? But other things to keep an eye on if you want to get into the nitty-gritty of things. If the Rams lose, they solidify the 5th overall pick from what I've heard. So that's a positive. And if you want the Lions to get an even better pick, cheer for the Broncos, Cardinals, and Colts to win, and then the pick will potentially get even better based on all the great tiebreakers. So just keep an eye on those things. We obviously want the Rams to win for their playoff hopes. That's number one. That's the biggest thing. But a Rams win would move the pick to the 9th overall pick, most likely. So cheer for the Vegas, Panthers, and the Falcons to all get wins. So when the Rams win, it doesn't really hurt the pick nearly as much. But I did come up with also the worst case scenario because obviously that's what we expect for Lions fans. Worst case scenario is the Rams win, ruins our pick, and then we go out and lose to the Packers, miss the playoffs, the pick is worse, and that's just lose-lose at that point.
Lose.
It would be a stupid question to ask what would we rather have, a better pick or a shot at the playoffs, right? We want to go into Sunday Night Football with that chance, period, end of story, and put that risk at not getting in. But that's
yeah.
right. We're on the same page with that.
If we're a Lions fan, you want them to make the playoffs.
But it's a nice.
Yeah, I wanted them to beat Carolina too,
Yeah, that's true.
and that didn't happen.
That didn't go so well.
So I'm not saying that it's not going to happen, but I do want them to win. I don't want the Lions to take the foot off the pedal.
Yeah.
I want nothing more than to eliminate Aaron Rodgers from
That
playoff
would feel
contention.
so good. Either way, that's I want.
Yeah,
that.
so let's say Seahawks win, Lions win, they miss out on the playoffs. You're a
But-
9-8 football team.
9-8 football team.
Still got
just-
a great first-round pick out of the deal.
Yeah.
And you're
Yep.
going to have a
2
solid
first-round picks,
Yeah, you're
2
going to have
second-round
a solid second first-round pick
Yeah.
at 9 and
2
8.
seconds.
Yeah.
So it's fun. Who would have thought? We were sitting at 1-6. There's no way that we would have thought that this would come down to week 18. We actually have a chance. We have a reason to watch every single one of these football games for the first time in how long?
I think we made the argument that they were not as bad as
Yeah.
their record, but the absolute turnaround to not just play better, but to win all these games,
Is awesome.
man, it's just been a fun second half.
Yeah, 7-2, right? In the last 9?
Yeah, 7-2.
I'll take that. I'll take that all day long.
Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. State of My Sports.
And betting hero picks,
Yeah.
right?
All right. Moving on.
Just got to make one little edit there.
I don't want to do this as much as you guys. I really don't, but we can't.
I don't wanna do this at all.
We can't hide from it. So,
I'd like to grade
We
this
could.
beer.
We could hide from it.
Michigan played TCU Horned Frogs on New Year's Eve and lost 51-45. I'm just going to go through some of the numbers here to kind of start, and then we'll kind of just discuss, right? Usually I have like a nice little flow, but I just didn't have the energy to do it. Yes, so 51-45. TCU put up 488 total yards, 225 passing, 263 on the ground, 7 yards per play. They had 19 first downs. They were 8 of 16 on third down. It was just, I mean, really, you look at the stats compared to Michigan. Michigan had 528 total yards, 342 passing, 186 rushing is respectable, 7 yards per play as well, 25 first downs. Big negative here was the 3 of 13 on third down and 0 for 2 on fourth down. Crucial moments there. And really the crucial moments started really drive one. So let's kind of go through that. Drive one, first play, what was a 60-yard run for Edwards. They get down to the 1 yard line, right?
The 4, wasn't it, or something?
Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I think it was fourth and goal from the 2 is what we were at. And I turned to Ryan and I turned to Mike as we were watching that. I'm like, what do you guys do here? Ryan, I think you said take the points.
I did.
Micah said take the points. And I said go for it.
I actually think Mike said go for it.
Did he?
Yep.
Okay.
I wanted them to go for it.
I wanted them to go for it. And I still think it's the right call to go for it. Outside of hindsight.
The play call.
The play call is what drove me absolutely nuts.
Play call was so bad.
So it is kind of the story of this game is questionable play calling and missed opportunities along with shooting yourselves in the foot. Obviously, look, TCU went out. They did what they needed to do. They beat Michigan. But that play call, you have an identity here with what Michigan is. You were going to show up. You talked the game that you were going to go out and play smash mouth football. No, it did not work out the way you wanted to. It was working in that drive. And then you get to this fourth down play, and Edwards, your best running back, is not even on the field, first of all. Why? I think that was also on third down, if I'm correct. If I don't remember the exact sequence of how it all went. And they did that, had to call timeout, had time to figure this thing out, put up, and they did this.
They
Philly-
called a timeout. They called timeout because they had their jumbo package on the field, short goal line situation, and they're 2 long yards out.
Okay.
Right. So
And that
then-
was that was after the JJ scramble, right?
Is that what it was?
yes.
So they didn't get to the line of scrimmage right away either. And by the time they called in a play, there was like 5 minutes or 5 seconds left on the play clock.
All right. So then they come out of the timeout and look confused as all get out. So they're obviously doing something goofy. And then they do basically their version of the Philly special with the tight end coming around and throwing the ball. Why are we...
Quarterback.
Yeah. Well, the tight end trying to throw to the quarterback.
End around to the quarterback, yeah.
Yeah.
Double reverse.
Just a terrible play call. And if you are going... And what that told me from that very beginning is you're going away from who you are. You're going away from what you said you were going to do and go in and show up in this game and play, I guess. You said we are going to dominate this game on the ground. Yeah, I don't think they were, and I get what you're saying outside of that big run. But at the same time, you have an identity that you need to stick with. The second you go away from your identity is when people stop believing in you, your players stop believing, and I think that was a crucial moment by getting cute with their play call and I guess trying to just trick their way into getting these points instead of going and earning them. You know what I mean?
Well, and look, the Philly special is fine as long as it's against the right defense. So
and a 3-3-5 is not a defense that you do that against.
Well, but you call out the defense. You force them to show their hand early. So if you put a guy in motion and the defense reacts a certain way, then you know you have a man-to-man defense and that guy's going to be wide open on the backside. If you don't put him in motion, you don't know. So then they're sitting in zone and there's a cornerback on a quarterback and your tight end is making the final decision here. Like Micah sat there and like circled a guy that was wide open in the back left side of the end zone, but you have a tight end who's under pressure trying to make that decision against a quarterback in a legitimate big time D1 cornerback. It's just you messed the play up. You got too cute, and you didn't even have a checkout option. You didn't have the plan 2 or 3. You just went to plan A and said, this is going to be sweet. We're going to trick him into this. And it's like you didn't even set it up properly.
Yeah. I just don't like taking the ball out of... First of all, Edwards needs to be on the field in that situation. We'll get into later on in this game another situation that he was removed from the goal line place, and I don't get it. But... why are we taking the ball out of JJ's hands? JJ can run. That's what I would rather see. We should be throwing to our tight ends, not our tight ends to our quarterback, period, in this type of game.
Not on the goal line. There's too many bodies out there for your tight end to get any separation for the throw and your quarterback to get any separation for the catch.
Yeah.
I'd rather see Michigan lose out on that possession by getting stuffed on 4th and 2, running the ball up the middle.
Not to mention, it was, an 8-yard loss where instead of being at the 2-yard line, 1-yard line that they're getting the ball, they already have space from their own end zone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sorry, is that what you were going to say?
Well, more so, so we had the long run. Donovan Edwards has the long run early on. The reason he was taken out of the goal line touches is because he was only playing with his left hand, and they were worried about ball security, which is funny now looking at what happened.
Yeah.
But they were not successful running the ball the whole drive except for that one run. So when were they successful in these situations so far in the game? They weren't moving the ball at will. They were not winning the line of scrimmage at that point. They weren't pulling guards and doing all these creative things and putting the defense on their heels. That was not the time to do that. If you have the advantage, if you have like something that's actually shown to work, or you have some sort of mismatch that you want to take advantage of, then go after it and do something like that, or do the power setup with the tight end or fullback that goes to the flat. Sure, but they hadn't set that up yet. That wasn't working at that point. So you take the points when the points are available, live another day, get another drive of your offense out there so you can create the mismatches. The reason why you see easy plays work near the goal line when it just looks like the easiest touchdown ever is because of all the plays that led up to that.
And you didn't even have enough to set that up.
You couldn't set up anything. You weren't successful moving the ball except for one play down the field at that point. And then a JJ miracle scramble that got you down to the 2. It was not the right time to be aggressive. You hadn't had a successful offense run at that point.
I agree. I was wrong to say go for it. I would be okay with a different play call and miss out, like you said. I would much rather miss out on the points by sticking to what we do and getting stuck
100%.
at the 1-2 yard line rather than the trickery that didn't go right.
You lean on that offensive line all season long, and then you run that play, and you literally take your offensive line away because the ball's moving to the outside and he's trying to make a play on the move.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather give them the opportunity to go prove something right now, get those 2 yards, whatever you got to do to get to the end zone, and score a touchdown right now, then take that out of the offensive lineman's hands.
Because that's what their identity
That's
has
what
been
sets
all
the
season.
that's what sets the tone is
Yeah.
when you win those little matches up front. Everybody's stacked in the box when Michigan got the ball on the 2-yard line.
Mm-hmm.
There's no room with the end zone being right there. If you're going to be throwing the ball, it's got to be JJ.
Yep.
Nobody else.
It almost feels like the coordinators and the coaches had too much time for preparation.
Yep. And that's another thing that I can't wait for expansion, to get rid of the 17 weeks between championship games and the real championship
It's like
games.
they were waiting for that play call. They had it
Yeah.
circled. They were like, "Oh, this is gonna be awesome," and then they call it, and it wasn't. It wasn't.
It was an abomination is what it was.
Mhm.
Thank you. Yeah, you're right.
To not only not throw the ball or throw it away.
Yeah,
you
but that was
take,
nothing.
You
Throw the ball away.
take that 8-yard loss.
But it was
That was-
ill-timed. It was just ill-timed.
But again, it's easy to look back and say, yeah, I wish they would have just kicked the field goal right there because who knows what would have happened.
Yeah. Yep.
But again, if you're running that play, set it up. Put
Yeah.
a guy in motion. See if it's man or zone. They
But-
were in zone coverage.
Yeah,
You can't even be successful.
At the end of the day, our offense costed us a lot of points in
Yeah.
one direction on that scoreboard.
So that was 7 points missed out. Let's just say 7 or 3. Doesn't matter. I'll just change it to 3 points. Does that work? Missed out on 3, maybe 7. Second drive. We stopped them on their drive. And then our second drive, we had the pick 6. The first pick 6. JJ, it's just a really good play.
He
sorry.
telescoped that throw.
So-
He stared down.
I think
Ronnie
there was
Bell
a couple
the entire
things
time.
with this throw. Ryan pointed one of them out to me, but I think the first one was, I think JJ was late on the throw, first of all. But I think what Ryan brought up, do you remember what you brought up?
Yeah, Ronnie Bell. He
Ronnie Bell's-
telegraphed it.
Telegraphed it, but you said he was also lazy on
It was
his
a
route.
lazy route. It's a rounded route.
So it was like you combined a little late with the lazy route. That's what allowed them to make that play and take that back to take the 7-0 lead.
Yeah, if he breaks out of that move, he's going to have a little more separation to at least potentially just bat that ball down if he's not going to catch it.
Yeah.
You
If
watch,
it's not going to be a clear pick.
you
but-
watch the eyes of the cornerback. You watch the eyes of the cornerback. He broke on the wide receiver route. He didn't break on JJ's motion.
Right.
He didn't watch. His eyes were on the receiver. It was not on the quarterback at all. He was opportunistic in his vision to see the ball because he jumped the route early.
And that's a play that they probably saw in highlight reels while they've been preparing for this game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kudos to the defense for making a big play. I thought that ball should have been thrown a little bit further outside in a way and allow for Ronnie Bell to maybe make a bigger play than an easy route. And it was just how quick that tide turned.
Yep.
But hats off to the dude. Like you don't break on a route that committed unless you've done your homework.
Yep.
Or
I
you're
agree
being
with that.
reckless. And I'm not going to say he was being reckless. I
No,
think
I don't
he did
think
his
he
homework
was either. Yeah.
because it worked.
Yep.
And so I think that's why you run routes a certain way though. It's to protect your quarterback. It's to make sure that those things that they can pick up on with the film, they can't. They can only pick up on if you do something way too early.
Yep.
You lean on a tendency,
So I think the second pick 6 happened next, right? Like this was later in the third quarter. The half was, I forget what the score was. Usually I have all that laid out. But anyways, it was TCU was dominating the first half, and then Michigan responded early in the second half, and then I think we were getting some momentum, and then it was another pick 6 that JJ threw. That one was just a really good play. I thought he jumped that route better. Obviously you put the pick 6 on the quarterback, but man, it was just that one I thought was more impressive on the defensive side than anything, unless you saw something different. But then let's get into the next part where Michigan got a key interception, and I don't remember the score or anything like that. Just talking about the key moments here. Michigan got the interception, and then very next play, the very far pass. I forget, it was like a 52-yard pass down to the 1-yard line, basically.
Down to the,
originally they called
the
it a
end zone.
touchdown. It was obviously a touchdown. To the fact that they overturned that to not being a touchdown still blows my mind.
I was Yeah, I didn't get a clear response from the official that had any evidence to turn that call over. I feel like he didn't have control, 100% control of the ball until he was down on his rear end on the goal line.
It was obvious.
It was obviously a touchdown.
It was obvious, and again, he overturned it. He said there was indisputable evidence showing that he was at the half-yard line. It's like he touched the ball for the first time at the half-yard line, and it juggled around. Everybody in the stadium could see that.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, it was like the most obvious thing in real time. Like, he caught it falling into the end zone.
Yeah. But they call it back, half-yard line, and shouldn't be a problem. But this is where, again, they hand the ball off to Mullings.
Yeah, personnel package right here.
I don't want to just say it's because Edwards isn't in the game. I get that there's more to it. I still don't understand why your number one running back isn't. I don't know why you're using a converted linebacker to be this important piece in this game. I don't know why he was in the Ohio State game. But anyways, he fumbled the ball, and they got the ball inside their end zone, touchback. That's another 7-point swing right there.
And field possession.
Yeah, because it went from the half-yard line to... Now, I get it. Everybody that says, well, get in the end zone anyways. I hate when people say that.
Me too.
Because you shouldn't have to get in the end zone again. Period, end of story. That's what replay is for. So you don't have to do things twice. You don't have to make up for a bad call. You shouldn't have to. So
I agree. It drives me crazy because there shouldn't have been another play. There shouldn't have happened. There shouldn't have been an opportunity for something to go wrong. There shouldn't have been an opportunity for the offensive coordinator to call a dumb play, handing it off fast on a fullback dive. Why do we need a fullback dive at that point? Run J.J. McCarthy.
You can push.
Just quarterback sneak it up the middle, and you can push him through the end zone.
You can push him in now.
Like, that's the most obvious thing. Do it 4 times.
Yes.
Because you're not going to lose yards doing that.
Yep.
So do it 4 times. Good luck 3-3-5.
Now, look, I get that is the same play that we've scored on time and time again, but that's also with Blake Corum. And we've been in that situation, and we usually get it. So it's kind of like when freak things happen, they just seem to happen, and I get all of those things, but it's just do it right. And I think, Ryan, you kind of already brought it up, is they overthought this whole game. This is just offensive side of the ball. How many times were they blitzing on 3rd and 8, and it absolutely killed this team?
No, first. Blitzing on 1st and 10 and 2nd and 8.
Well, also on 3rd and long, they're opening up the game. You didn't need to blitz, in my opinion, based on what you're doing. You are the Big 10 against the Big 12, right? Big 12. You should never have to blitz to get pressure. You shouldn't have to do those things. You shouldn't have to get creative. You should have showed up and beat them because maybe Big 10 arrogance here. You are the Big 10. You play your game and let them react. It felt like the exact opposite. It felt like Michigan was like, well, we have to game plan for this. We have to game plan for that. We have to get cute here. We have to get cute there. No, play football because that's what you are built to do. Big 10 is built to play football. Big 12 is built to be cute and do these things that people aren't expecting. High-flying offense, 3-3-5 defense. Make them make it work.
We got some good comments coming in, too. So, Carrie, thanks for the clarification. Micah did say take the points. You were the one who said go for it, so shame on you, but good job, Micah. Then Schoonmaker's the guy in the end zone. I agree with this one. Micah has a good point here. Offensive line looked confused throughout the game because of this 3-3-5, and you saw the line lining up against the offensive line, right? And they were lining up inside of the tackles, and for whatever reason, we had a really hard time matching up with the second layers, the blitzing packages coming out of those 3.
Yep.
So they did exactly what it's designed to do: stop the run on the inside. And for some reason, we got out of character and stopped pulling guards and stopped pulling centers. We just went straight up against them and tried to run straight down the middle instead of running off tackle. It's like we're one of the best zone or off tackle run teams in the nation.
Yep.
And we didn't attack. It seemed like as soon as, you know what, this is actually reminding me of something else too, but as soon as we got down, our game plans turned into panic on offense and defense. And I remember who was the color guy? Who's the announcer?
Blackledge?
No, who the other guy then?
The play-by-play?
Yeah.
Was it Klatt?
Sean McDonough?
Yeah, Joel Klatt.
Not on Saturday. Or not on New Year's.
For Michigan?
Yeah.
I think he called the game.
No, he didn't. It was McDonough and
oh, my bad.
And Blackledge.
Was that on ESPN?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry about that. So anyways, I remember seeing Klatt's like preview of the game, and he had this thing where he's like, look, the only way I see TCU winning this game is if they get ahead early and they force Michigan to play a game that they're not comfortable with playing because they're never in this situation. So what you need to do to beat Michigan is get them out of their game early. And that's exactly what we saw. It seemed everything that we were watching was uncharacteristic.
Yep.
And it was the blitzing. It was the timing of the blitzing. It was the missed rotations on defense. Well, if you're blitzing all the time, and Duggan is the guy that can move around and see the field a little bit, like, man, you're setting yourselves up for a lot of missed assignments.
Yeah. No, I would disagree because I think Michigan dominated the football game. Outside of the few times that they shot themselves in the foot. Yeah, they were out of character. They allowed big plays, big touchdown plays. What were in the second half? They allowed 20 points in the third quarter. Michigan scored 24. Michigan outscored them 39 to 30 in the second half. So that's not that crazy. And there was a pick six in there. Remember that? And then there was an 80-yard touchdown run or something like that, or pass. From Johnson, 76 yards. Like the big plays, that was a 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 8, I think, that we didn't need a blitz on, and they found a way to get around. But
what I'm saying is
Michigan won this football game.
But no,
outside of the pick sixes, the fumble, and a stupid play call.
But what is Michigan's identity? What is their identity?
Pound the trenches.
All right, so their running backs averaged 3 yards per carry after the first run of the game.
Well, they ended with 186.
They averaged 3 yards per carry. The running backs averaged 3 yards per carry after the first run of the game.
Okay.
They did not win the game on the ground. They did not win the trenches. TCU was able to get them out of what Michigan does. And I get that Michigan moved the ball, but they also threw 2 pick sixes, which count. And they don't do that unless they're out of their game plan.
Okay, that's a good point.
I don't know. That's the way I'm seeing the game. That was the heartbreaking thing. Is I'm watching the game, and yeah, Michigan put up a valiant effort with the comeback and the second half stuff, and like every time that they messed up and did something, JJ and they didn't get down. They were still coming back. They were fighting, and I see the fight, and I appreciate it. I thought they were going to win the game at the end. I really did. I thought they were going to pull it off somehow, but it wasn't the Michigan that we're used to seeing. It was panic, chaos, come back at all costs type of team, and that's TCU. That's not Michigan.
Yeah, just frustrating.
It's very frustrating. It could have been a lot worse. Yeah, because if Michigan doesn't get back into the game and score some points, then it's real ugly.
Yeah, we were looking at Georgia 2.0.
But to give up 14 points, your offense give up 14 points, that's pretty bad. That's 20 points now that they got to go out and score just to make it feel like we got a chance.
Yeah.
And first 3 possessions inside the goal line when they had first and goal, first 3 times they were in the goal situations, they came out with 3 points.
Total.
Michigan's offense.
3
total,
possessions.
3 points on those 3 possessions from first and goal.
And that's not Michigan. They dominate the red zone.
There you go.
Right? Yeah. All year long. I went into the game knowing that Max Duggan had the potential to have 1 or 2 big, key, clutch plays in him. And that one was the touchdown pass to
Quentin
Johnson. There were 2 guys. Michigan had 2 defenders in the backfield chasing him down. He was dang near close to getting sacked.
Oh, the play was insane.
And he made that throw without his feet. It was all arm. It was all instinct. And it just so happened to burn the secondary down the field. You take that play away, and Michigan wins this game.
Yeah. I mean, you take away a lot of these
A
plays.
lot of them, yeah.
Yeah,
And it's just
I even remember, like, what's his name? The Mozzie Smith. Mozzie Smith, when he had a free run at Duggan in the middle of the game, and it was like, it was a crucial third down play.
And then he thought he was going to roll out, so he, like, stopped.
He thought there was a screen coming, and Duggan didn't even know he was there. Like, he had
Yeah.
a free run to
Yeah.
sack him, and they were just in their own heads.
And then he made a play.
And then
he
going
made a
back
play.
to the offensive line, like the confusion that they were having. How many times did you see our offensive linemen blocking each other? I feel like I saw that constantly.
Yeah, or holding one of them up,
Yeah.
you know, from falling. It's just like, why are
It
your
was-
hands on a teammate right now?
It was unbelievable how confused they looked. And then our center, best center, I think he won the best offensive lineman in the country,
Yeah,
right?
he's amazing, yeah.
And he had
2 false starts.
2 false starts. How does a center false start? Like, that's weird. And then the last play of the game, which we didn't talk about yet, but the last play of the game that he snapped the ball way too early.
Yeah.
Caused the fumble, caused the chaos. I was blown away how bad our offensive line looked. That was really a big part of it. And it wasn't just on the smash mouth running the ball. It was just they looked out of sorts. They looked very confused. I don't know how many total penalties they had, but it felt like a lot.
It felt like at times TCU's defense was almost playing like a high-tempo defense on us. You know, we're calling the plays, but it's just like, gosh, they got their substitutions in real crispy, and like then they got the full-time pressure coming up the middle, whether it's stopping the run or getting to the quarterback, and you know, but TCU's offense was definitely playing against a Michigan defense that had been on their heels a little bit.
Yeah.
You look at the 2 interceptions; they were both tip balls. That doesn't happen every day either.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
those guys weren't really that close to making a play on the
Yeah.
throw. It could have been a lot worse,
There
right?
were also some non-calls that could have been against Michigan on some of those, too.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we were pretty grabby.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah, they definitely let him play.
And we did get a reward, like that roughing the passer. That was just a terrible
Oh,
call
yeah.
on the one that,
Those
We got
happen.
lucky on that.
Those
Yeah.
those happen. It's the ones that are the replays where it's like, what are you thinking? That just
Yep.
there's nothing good that can come from that.
So then the last one that was interesting, at least to talk about the replay, was the final play of the game. They had the scramble in. I forget who ended up having to throw the ball. Was it Edwards that ended up throwing it? And Loveland got hit in the head. Game was over, basically, and then all of a sudden they're reviewing something, and they were talking about potential targeting that would have kept this drive alive. Now, I don't remember how much time was left. I think it was like 38 seconds, no timeouts. I get all of those things. It wouldn't have done anything. But to review that and say it wasn't targeting is very confusing. Now, do I like the targeting call? No. I'm okay with that not being called ever again, personally. But by the book, that was targeting. And you reviewed it. And you didn't get it right. Again, I'm not saying that Michigan lost because of that. I'm saying it was another wrong call on replay. And it's very frustrating when you have this stupid replay and you still can't get it right. I don't know. What were you guys' thoughts on that last play, I guess?
I can't say anything different. I agree with you 100%. The clear definition of targeting. The guy launched, the guy used the crown of his helmet, and he hit a guy above the shoulders.
Defensive player, too. That
With
was
his
probably
back,
already down.
with his back to him.
Yeah.
hit him above the shoulders. Now, you can't tell me that when he aimed to hit the what
I think it was Loveland.
Loveland, Colson Loveland,
Yeah.
that he was aiming for his lower back or his hips
Yeah.
or his shoulders. He was out there hunting. And the fact that NCAA doesn't have the integrity to stand behind the rule just goes to show that either A, that referee didn't want to make a crucial call in a crucial moment of the game when TCU had all the luck go their way already, and he's from Ohio, and Ohio State still had to play.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing.
It is. It's unacceptable.
It is, and I say that knowing that Michigan might have still had one more crack at something crazy to happen.
Yeah.
And I think college football is better with Michigan advancing to the national championship game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Michigan, it's not like we're saying that they deserve to win the game because of that call.
Right.
But the call deserved to stand on its own.
Yeah.
And it was, by definition, targeting, and it was very simple to see with the replay.
And that player shouldn't play next week. You know, like I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You can't. Can't be out there this late in the season making those plays and not being punished.
It almost feels like that's why they didn't make the call, in my opinion, is to not necessarily because of the implications of the current game, but like, no, we don't want to do that to the kid and have him sit out for an accidental targeting call or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm okay with that. Like, all in all, like, I think that's a stupid rule to sit somebody in the second half of the first game or of the next game, but like, it's a stupid rule in general. For the most, it's executed incorrectly, in my opinion. But
it's like a judge, though. You're there to interpret the rules, right? That's what they're there to do, and they didn't do it. And it might be because they're spineless. Might have been an Ohio thing.
And that's after that touchdown catch that didn't stand.
Yeah, and that it just felt like on top of everything else.
Yeah,
that was the way it's gonna end.
So I guess in hindsight, I was looking for a chance to like get one back from the officials that we didn't get earlier. Okay.
Yeah.
The game's over. We don't win. They try to throw another Hail Mary or little.
Yeah, I mean they could have worked their way down the field. I mean the clock does stop.
Well, and
reverses and pitches and stuff.
To Micah's point in his comment here too, like, you know, JJ actually outdueled the Heisman runner-up.
He did. Yeah, so the stats, I'll say those and then finish your point. Max Duggan went 14 of 29 for 225 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. JJ 20 of 34, 343, 2 touchdowns, and 2, obviously, pick sixes.
And I get the interceptions were more impactful for JJ, but look at the numbers, 20 of 34 for 343 versus 14 of 29, under 50% completion percentage for 225, and those were big plays where he got those yards. Like just, you know, falling apart kind of plays. It's not like Duggan was moving the ball. That was JJ that was moving the ball all game long. So something like this, like I could use that to say, like, you know, looking for next year, what we hope from him and all that. But really, when the game comes down to a few plays, who was the guy who was stepping up to make those plays in those kind of situations at the end of the game that we were seeing? It was JJ that was moving the ball.
Yeah, what were your overall thoughts outside of the pick six? Or the 2 pick sixes, like JJ, like I heard some callers call in and be like, "Oh, I knew we should have stuck with Cade." Like,
that's a dumb.
That is the dumbest take I've ever heard. I think JJ, as a 19-year-old kid doing what he did, with his back against the wall early on, that this thing could have fallen apart very quickly. He put this team on his back and played some extremely good football. Not only running the ball, or not only passing the ball, but running the ball as well. He ended up with 10 carries for 52 yards and a rushing touchdown. And he made some big-time plays. Big-time college football plays that should get fans excited for next year.
Yeah, he had, what was it, like 7 yards on that one carry, but he ran like 45 yards to get there. You know, it's that number is a little bit skewed because I don't know, and I was hoping that they could utilize him on the feet a little more early in the game when Donovan Edwards wasn't getting any more out of, you know, outside of that big play. But he did throw the ball really well at times in the game. You eliminate that first pick six, that one kind of set the tone for TCU. That gave them a little bit of life that we were about to suck from their sails.
Yeah.
You know, that I live with the second pick six.
Yeah.
I live with not a second, but the first of the game.
Yeah.
At that time in the game.
Yep.
And still give them a chance to be in the ball game. I felt like it was just out of control from the start and out of reach. I know they were always there. It was cool to sit on the edge of the seat, but it was just good to see JJ not completely lose his mind and, you know,
you saw him
fall off into the distance. Hang his head and get frustrated, and he took it on the chin at the end of the day, and that's what you want to see out of a guy that you got another year.
I agree 100%. And really, I'll just go back to the beginning of the game because that's, to me, Michigan could have dictated how this game was played based on everything early on. And if you get points early and then you don't have, well, even the pick six, I don't know if that happens if you get the points early because now the game's just in a different different place.
You're pounding the ball.
Yeah, well, you could be. I don't know. Yeah. But even so, like it's a difference of being 2 scores behind very early on. And that's a coaching thing versus being either tied or up.
Yeah.
Michigan could have been, with the pick six, should have been up 10-7, just like that. Instead, they're down 2 scores.
So I think we should talk a little bit about the aftermath of the game and kind of what we're seeing here. You brought up coaching. I think they should take this one. I think they were over-prepared. I think they overthought it. I think they should have stuck to what they do best. But here we are again. we're hearing rumors of Jim Harbaugh already looking to go. Sorry.
Yeah, I just want to point out one thing. TCU failed on the Big 12 championship game. They overthought it. They ran the ball twice to lose the game and not go to their best player, Max Duggan, and run it. And then what did they do? They learned from that, and every time they were on the goal line, they went straight to Duggan.
Yep. He had 2
Michigan didn't have that. Like, they just had their learning experience right now.
Mhm.
It's just a like flip flopped on the weeks.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just thought about that because like we just saw TCU go through this. Like, they overthought it. You were saying that. It's exactly what everybody was talking about TCU in the Big 12 championship game.
Yeah.
And then they like kind of admitted it. Yeah, if we were to do it over again, we would have changed it up.
Yep. But I did want to talk a little bit about the Harbaugh stuff. Here we are again, and it feels. I just don't know what to do with this. But basically, it started out early on when basically the Broncos said, "Hey, we are interested in Jim Harbaugh," or at least that was the report, or Jim Harbaugh was interested in them. I don't remember exactly how it all went. But now today it was Panthers owner talks to Michigan's Jim Harbaugh about head coaching job, not necessarily a formal interview. But here we are again. I mean, he already came out a couple weeks ago and said he's going to coach Michigan enthusiastically in 2023. Last year, after what he did with the Vikings, he said that was his last time, and he's here to stay. Now, we're already getting these rumors. Where are you guys at with the Jim Harbaugh to the NFL? Do you think it's just a smoke and mirrors here that somebody else is playing here for Michigan, or do you think that he still has a legitimate interest in the NFL and he's lying through his teeth a year ago and then a couple weeks ago? Like, where are you guys at with all this?
I mean, I heard $20 million a year in Denver.
$20 million a year?
Denver, yeah, they're owned by the Waltons.
Yeah.
The richest owner in the NFL.
Well, did they just sell? Or is that the family that just bought?
They bought.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then paid Russell Wilson. In the grand scheme of things, it's not very much money to what they bought the organization for. What was it, like $4.3 billion or something like that? Look, you go do that for 2 years and make $40 million and maybe do something big with Russell Wilson. I don't know. But outside of that, I just don't know that there's an opportunity out there right now for Jim Harbaugh that is appealing enough for him to make the jump.
Yeah, I mean,
I still don't think Denver's a great job. I don't think Carolina's a very good job. You just got rid of Christian McCaffrey. What do you have left there? You know, you're really rebuilding. And look what Matt Rule did in his limited time. So unless something else opens up and maybe quarterback shift around, I don't foresee him making that jump. But I think the day is coming where there is going to be the opportunity for the right organization that makes the most amount of sense for him to leave Michigan. But I just want him to be there next year, let's face it.
Yeah, I think Micah is fuming that he's not here today. We miss you today, Micah. He commented, Albert Breer started off 7 days ago with Harbaugh to the Broncos, another OSU alum. So I guess Albert Breer
started the rumors
before the game even played. And then just obviously it's continuing to roll here. I've heard Colts. And I've also heard a report that if he gets offered a job, he's good and gone. Like, he's ready to take the job no matter what.
I did hear that too.
I don't know if that... I don't know, and obviously depending on the money. If the Broncos are paying you $20 million, take it and run. Like, I get it, because they're gonna have to pay somebody a lot of money to take over what is lingering there, because it is not a pretty picture with Russell Wilson without draft picks and all that stuff. But Colts are another interesting one. I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of this being a conversation. I wish him and his people would come out and say yeah or no, basically. I want it to be done. I obviously want him back. I think he's a very good coach. He's got this thing he's got this thing polished. They are in reload mode more than anything. They're doing that through the transfer portal. Next year, I think, is another opportunity to have another good year. But I don't know. Where you at, Ryan? Do you care at this point?
I just don't buy into any of it. I don't know. I do think he's interested in the NFL. We saw that last year. And I think at the time when he said the comment about definitely coaching again in 2023, I personally think that was his way of being like, we're going to play in the national championship game. And, like, I don't know if I mean, I think he's really locked into this team with J.J. McCarthy. That's kind of his guy and his team and this group of young players that seem to be, kind of leading the Wolverines too.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he's kind of locked into all their careers, but he's got a lot of ties to a few of these organizations, especially the Colts, I would say. If the Colts become a little bit more appealing to him, and I know the Broncos have that connection too, but I think the Colts probably have it more with him being as part of their basically the Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah, the Ring of Honor, I think they call it.
So I think he'll end up in the NFL. I don't think it's next year or this year, but at the same time, is his stock ever going to be higher? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he took a pay cut right at Michigan, so if he's got an opportunity to go make that back up and then some.
I think he gets $10 million a year when he hits his incentives, which I think he got this year.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure his incentives are pretty hefty too.
But
he
doesn't need money.
Does he wait for Sean Payton? Does he wait for Sean Payton to make a move
and reset the market for coaches? Maybe.
If money is his issue, then why would he rush into a job?
The way I'm
feeling it out.
The way I'm looking at it is, if these rumors continue, I think he wants out. I think he wants to go to the NFL. And I don't necessarily think it's anything against Michigan. It's not that he doesn't want to be Michigan's head coach and win a national title and all of those things. I think he's probably at a point where this is the most difficult it's ever been to be a college football coach. You have NIL, you're dealing with recruiting, you're dealing with recruiting your current players, you're dealing with recruiting transfers. You need to do all of these things. And it's way different, and it's way more difficult than I think any of these guys really want it to be. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
I think his stock is sky high. Highest that it will probably ever be. As soon as there's expansion, it'll probably go down because he'll be losing in the playoff probably every year unless you end up getting, you know what I mean? It feels like it's that. But I also agree with Ryan where it's this is his team. This feels like his last time through it, in my opinion. I think he's going to come back one more year, and I think we're going to go through it again, and I think he's going to move on, is what I think is going to happen.
And then draft JJ.
Maybe draft JJ and kind of start all. I feel like he's tied to JJ, and when JJ's done is when he will be done at Michigan.
And Donovan Edwards, yeah.
Yeah, and Donovan Edwards. Yeah, it feels like it, right?
Yeah,
These are his
does.
And when you're a coach, you get really connected to certain teams. And when they're moving on, that's when you're you start understanding, all right, they were actually the ones running this program, like Ryan said. I'm not the one doing it, and now I have to find the next guys to do it. And that's where it gets really hard, is finding the next group to go. You know what I mean? I don't think he's ever going to be a Nick Saban, that it's his way or the highway, and, you know what I mean? Probably not very fun to play for, kind of a jerk. You never get that full-on coach-player connection. I don't think he has that with his players, just from an outsider's perspective. But I feel like Harbaugh has changed that over the last 5 years, really. Early on, it seemed like he was trying to have that standoff relationship, and it hurt him. And now I feel like he's really bought in and is connected to this specific group. And I could see him being this is the one that I want to go out with. Yeah. And we want to do it on a high note with a national championship. At least another shot at it next year.
And it could have been this year.
I feel like this is the year that it feels like such a missed opportunity to me.
And so he's probably dealing with a lot of emotions about that, just the tug of war inside. But the decision will most likely come down to all the things that we don't think about or that we're not exposed to on a daily basis. Because your daily life and how you have to live, and you're talking about NIL stuff, yeah, 100%. But if you don't even get the support from the university to play the NIL game, then do you think you can compete long-term in that arena? And he probably doesn't think so with Michigan's stance on NIL. They're not doing the same thing as other universities.
Yeah.
They lost 2 captains this year to transfer. Yeah. 2 captains in their best year, 13-0 start to their season, which has never been done before, and their 2 captains are transferring.
Big Ten team.
Yeah, it's insane to think about. And if you're a college coach, is that the atmosphere, is that the arena that you're going to want to play in long term? No, probably not. You probably really love X's and O's and football, and he's established himself in the NFL. All those NFL franchises would take him, any one of them, and that's his way of getting back to something that looks more like football.
Yep, I agree. So I guess we'll just put a bow on the season, and feel like we missed out. Micah, We need your picks, buddy. Text me. Text me your picks. Hurry up.
From the Red Wings to Michigan State, we're talking about it. This is State of My Sports.
Instead of texting the picks, he should just comment as
Well, then
we're reading them
sitting
off.
there, yeah.
We'll just let
You
him
think
know.
you can do that?
Yeah, Micah, just comment as. Oh, are they going to come in a little bit late?
I don't know. I don't know how quickly they come up. I guess we could try that.
Or just text. Do either one.
Yeah, either one works for me. But we're getting into our Betting Hero segment.
Actually, you know what? Don't worry about it. Don't worry
Promo
about
code MIBETS. Well, do you want him to know your picks before you do?
it. No, I actually don't want him to put his picks in. Don't worry about it, Micah.
Well, he needs to. Oh, because you want him just not get any
Yeah.
credit.
I'm going to win.
I mean, this is crazy.
Is that how I got set back on overall points?
It might be.
Did I miss some time here recently? I thought I had already 60 wins.
Yeah, you're going to have to talk
Oh,
to Sam about
Jeez,
that one.
he did text me the picks. Sorry.
Calling him out.
Can you explain bettinghero.com real quick while I write these down so we got it?
I've never been on bettinghero.com. Anybody
Promo
else?
code. Just say that.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, it's a sports betting platform, and so they don't do their own picks themselves, but they just kind of give you the best promo codes available from all the other betting platforms all in one place. Go to bettinghero.com, promo code MIBETS. That's it.
Perfect. Well done. We got some. Oh wait, nope. For once, we're doing college first. Of course, I screwed that up. All right, we got some.
National championship.
Yeah, first of all, I want to go through what happened last week. Micah 3-5, Ryan 3-5. I went 4-4. John went 5-3. Kyle went 3-4. Micah, Ryan, and John are tied up. I wrote the wrong number for John.
Okay, that was the reason.
Yep. Micah, overall, 68-58. Ryan, 68-58. John, 68-58. I'm behind you guys at 64-62. And Kyle is 61-64. We got a three-way tie.
All right.
Three-way tie
Wow.
for the picks. Do you guys want to know Micah's picks before you make yours?
So, staying on theme,
Micah.
John had the better week,
So he goes first.
so he goes first.
Okay. I'll tell you Kyle's first. We're gonna
Right,
start with
right? That's what we've been doing.
Yeah, that's what we'll do.
All right.
National championship game. This is next week, Monday. TCU versus Georgia. Georgia -13. You want me Kyle's pick first?
Yeah, go for it.
Kyle is taking TCU.
To cover. Gosh. Is it going to stay at 13?
No. I bet you it's going to go down to about 11. That's my guess, anyways.
Man, is that going to be that close? Give me Georgia.
All right, Ryan, do you want to know Micah's pick?
Yeah.
Micah is taking TCU.
I got to go with Georgia on this one, too. I feel like Georgia's just a better version of Michigan.
And they won't shoot themselves in the foot.
And they got whatever game plan they could out of Michigan's game of either what to do or what not to do. I don't know.
Micah basically just said it's just too many points in a national championship. And I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, it
But-
could be a field goal, you know.
Yeah. But I'm going to go with Georgia just because I agree. I think they're a Michigan team that's not going to shoot themselves in the foot and hurt themselves, basically.
Been there,
So,
done that.
Moving on to the NFL. Week 18, you got Saturday Night Football. Titans at the Jags. Jags -6.5. This is for the division. Kyle is taking the Titans. John, what are you going to do?
I feel like the last few times I've taken the Titans, they've screwed me over. And I don't know, who is their quarterback this week? Dobbs?
Maybe, I think, yeah.
Yeah, because Malik Willis, Ryan Tannehill's out.
It's Dobbs, I think.
Is Derrick
Yeah,
Henry
it's
going to
Dobbs.
play? They
I believe so, yeah.
benched him last week. What's the Jags' run defense like? Gosh. Oh.
You don't like going before them, do you?
No, and I don't like a Saturday night game. Titans at Jags. Is that like a
It's for the division.
for the division? I don't know. I'll go with the coaching matchup. Give me Doug. Is it Williams?
Doug Peterson.
Peterson. Give me the
Take the
Jags.
Jags.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence.
Ryan,
Six
do you
and a
want to know
half?
Micah's?
No, I'm taking Jags.
Jags. Micah is taking the Jags as well. I'm going to take Titans. Just because, I don't know, it's a close game. Why not?
You got to catch up.
Moving on to the Jets at the Dolphins. It is a pick'em. The Dolphins need a win and a Patriots loss for the wild card. Kyle's taking the Dolphins. Micah's taking the Dolphins. John, what are you going to do?
I'm going to take the Jets.
Jets to win.
I'm taking Dolphins. I think they just have enough playmakers to I don't know, win the game at home.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Dolphins. I think the Jets looked awful, and I'm not happy with them right now because I wanted them to beat Seattle. I'm very, very angry with them.
Me too. They can't score right now.
So for that, I'm picking against you.
I'm the only one to go with the Jets.
Yeah, that may be a game.
Might be a good thing.
That might be a winning pick right there.
Probably not.
Patriots at the Bills. Bills minus 7.5. And if the Patriots win, the Patriots win the final wild card spot. Kyle is taking the Bills. John.
Yikes. With everything they've gone through just here in the last 24 hours, it's a tall task. It's a home game. City's going to come out. I think Mac Jones is going to struggle. Give me the Bills.
Micah is taking... Ryan, do you want to know?
Yeah.
The Bills.
Man, I agree. I feel like this is the Bills. They're going to be doing this for more than just whatever this game means. So, weather's going to be cold. It kind of favors both teams, but Bills at home. I'm taking Patriots.
I'm taking the Patriots as well.
That was a toss-em game for me in my head.
I think the 7.5, the hook is the difference there. I don't see them dominating the game. I don't see the Patriots doing a no-show. So as much as I'd like to see them do a no-show, but yeah, I'm taking Patriots plus 7.5. Moving on, you got the Browns at the Steelers. Steelers minus 3. If the Steelers win, Dolphins lose, and Patriots lose, they win the wild card. You guys are both taking the Steelers. You already said, right?
Yeah, I'm taking Steelers.
John, is that true? Because
yeah.
Kyle's taking the Steelers.
Yeah, I don't trust Deshaun Watson this late in the season with their season out of hand. So, yeah, give me the Steelers.
Everyone's taking the Steelers except for me. I'm taking the Browns. I don't buy into the Steelers. I also know that the Browns are in the same situation as the Rams, kind of, where they don't have their first round pick, so they don't care. And I think they're looking to do some damage up front against a bad offensive line for the Steelers.
So the rest of us are taking the Steelers there.
I'm taking the Browns.
And you're taking the Browns.
Yeah.
Man.
Next, Rams at the Seahawks. Seahawks minus 6.5. Kyle taking the Detroit Rams. I don't know if he was going to do outright win or just the spread, but it doesn't matter because we do spread. But still. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm taking the Rams. Rams are going to win this game outright.
Wishful thinking.
Yep, but it's going to happen. I'll tell you guys my pick. I don't care.
What are you doing, Ryan?
I'm waiting. That's
you
what
guys
I'm
want to know Micah's?
I just feel
I
like...
could tell him Micah's.
All right.
He's not here to tell me I broke the rules. Micah's taking the Seahawks.
Oh, I just feel like that's still a tough place to play. But it's turf. Baker Mayfield's got something to play for. I don't think they're going to win outright, but I think they'll cover. Give me the Rams.
I'm going with the Rams, too.
Nice. Win?
I got the Rams winning this one, but covering for sure.
All right. Sunday night football.
Well, we know who Micah's picking, right?
Prime time. This is exciting. This is really, really exciting. You know what, Lions
commented, he said, you broke the rules.
Oh, shoot.
So he is here.
Rewind. All right. Lions at the Packers on the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. Packers minus 4.5. Kyle's taking the Lions. I'm not going to tell you who Mike is taking.
Mike is taking the Packers.
John, who do you got?
Common sense tells me to take the Packers here. But I drink that Kool-Aid all day long, baby. Give me the
Yes, sir.
Lions.
Love it.
Dang it.
I love it. I love it. Take the Lions to win outright, baby. Lions in the playoffs.
I got to go Lions, too. I'm not going to break my fandom here. I've gone with the Lions every pick for like
I have to.
for like 10 straight weeks.
I think I've done it for 18 straight, 17 straight weeks. Even the bye week, I knew they would win. I'm taking the Lions. Do you guys want to know what Mike is taking?
Packers.
He said he is taking the Lions to win outright.
Dang,
What?
I gotta scribble that out, Micah. Are you serious? I should have picked the Packers.
Dang
Some
it.
separation
He's
on the
taking the
field.
Lions. Yep.
Holy cow.
He did not say out win
common
outright,
sense
but
for
he
sure.
did take the Lions.
Oh, so the Packers are gonna win by 1?
He texted. No, I'm going to read his text verbatim here. I'm taking the Lions over the Packers, plus 4.5. They will also beat the Packers. Aaron Rodgers will retire, and Packers will move on to Jordan Love and never make the playoffs again. Man, I didn't know he had such hot takes.
It's actually
on the Packers.
that's actually the reason I did not keep Christian Watson on my fantasy team in my
Because-
keeper league, because I don't trust long-term value there.
Yeah.
Once Aaron Rodgers is gone. Yeah, did we just... we have like one game that's different?
Is that it? It's not over after this week. You guys know that, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're doing playoffs.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Well, then never mind. I thought this was the last week.
Same here. National championship last week of
Yeah.
regular season football, but
Yeah, all right. Well, I'm not too worried about this then.
Perfect. Where is it?
we got 2 different ones.
Drinking craft beer, having fun, and talking sports in the state of Michigan. You're listening to State of My Sports.
I love how Micah is so confident in the Lions.
I know, right?
In their future and what they're building.
Yeah.
He's finally using common sense.
He also said if Max wants to become a Lions fan, he would understand completely.
Yeah, that's
I
just
left
the
that
right.
out.
It's the right thing to do.
Yeah, I left that out. Didn't want to put that in anybody's head. But yeah,
That's a great father thing to do.
I know. Super
Yeah.
nice of him, right?
Give him the choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of his friends, right, are Lions fans.
The Packers, their time's done. This is the Lions' time.
Mm.
The Lions are going to go through what the Packers did in Micah's lifetime. It's going to be the Lions. The Packers are the new Lions. They're going to be screwed over by the refs constantly. They're going to what do we got here? Poor Ryan.
Mike is thinking that
dodged
I
the
didn't
A.J.
like
Dillon
AJ
pick.
Dillon. No, what was dumb is you could have had him in the 4th round.
That is
So
true.
was it a good a player to pick up? Yeah. You wasted a 2nd round pick on him after you just threw away your 1st round pick on Jordan Love. Don't talk to me about that, Micah. I know what I said.
It wasn't the right pick.
2nd
But he's
round.
good.
You could have got him in the 4th.
Yeah. Anyways, what are we drinking? From Stormcloud Brewing Company in Frankfurt, Michigan.
Frankfurt.
Rainmaker Ale, well balanced, medium bodied. They describe it as the beer that started it all. Our flagship pale ale was handcrafted over years of homebrew basement experiments. Rainmaker is well balanced, medium bodied, easy drinking ale. Take the day off. There's 100% chance of rain. What do you guys think of this Belgian style?
It's a good beer.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Belgian
solid.
inspired.
Solid. Just enough flavor, smooth enough, not too heavy.
Yeah?
I think they did a good job with the Belgian style there too. It's a good quality beer.
Let's give it some grades.
I'll go 7-8.
I was up there too. I'm gonna go 8-1.
Yeah, good one.
I'm going to go with a 7.6.
Did you grade this one already?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
We'll just
not.
go with that.
Yeah. Oh, we got through the disaster of the Michigan game. We
Well,
are
just
almost
a disappointment on the season. You
Yeah.
know?
disappointing season overall.
I think that layoff between the Big Ten championship game and the playoffs, and I guess in respect to the Big 12 championship game in the playoffs. Favored TCU, right? A one-loss team maybe had a little
They
bit.
had that bad taste.
Yeah, a little bit less to play for, but more to prove.
Yeah.
And just disappointing to see Michigan go out like this. You know,
Yeah.
I will be honest too. I mean, I knew it was going to be a closer game. I knew TCU had an opportunity to win this game, but I went in looking past this game.
Yeah, I did too.
I was looking at Georgia, Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was the game to watch. I didn't watch it,
Yeah.
and it looked like it was a good game. But I was looking past TCU, and maybe this is the punishment I deserve for doing so.
I'm right there with you.
Props to them. Max Duggan's a baller. He's not going to obviously win a Heisman. He's not going to be a number 1 draft pick.
Yeah.
He might find a backup role somewhere.
It wouldn't be a bad 6th-round pick for the Lions.
But he's just like a gamer. He's a dog in a way,
Yeah.
I guess. So good for him.
He's a bleeder.
And I guess, I'm taking Georgia to win, but maybe I'll be rooting a little bit for TCU. I don't like to
I
root
don't
for the
know,
teams
yeah.
that Michigan loses to.
I honestly don't know if I'll even watch. I probably won't.
I probably won't pay attention either, honestly.
When is the game this weekend?
Monday.
Okay.
Can you imagine? Oh, I don't even want to get into it.
Yeah, I know.
Don't want to get into it. That was episode 187? Yeah, 187. Thank you guys for recording tonight. Thank you all for
You're
watching,
welcome.
listening, sharing. We'll talk to you next week, if not sooner.
Bye.
You've been listening to State of My Sports. From the Red Wings to the Lions, to the Tigers to the Pistons, to Michigan and Michigan State, and everything in between, we're talking about it. And don't forget the beer. We hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review. In the meantime, hook up with us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch at State of My Sports with an MI. We'll see you next time.